Happy Friday, everyone. So, we are going from evidence laundering all the way to legal laundering today, and it's going to be a jam-packed show. I am so excited. So, we're just going to get right into it. And first, we always have to start with Blake Lively because that's just how it is. And what do we have first for her? Yes, evidence laundering to legal laundering. And remember the evidence laundering Van Zandt, we did a whole anniversary about it, and it was like a big part of this case, and it was so funny because I made a slide for legal laundering for the Lego case, and no one got the joke, like not one comment. But that's okay. So, what do we have going on in Lively Land? Basically, we have Ezra saying, "Don't put a limit on my attorney's fees," and Gottlieb saying there's no internet in Transylvania because that's apparently where vampires travel to allegedly, so they say. And they're just I had a whole stream with Karol on this, when she filed that the letter. Oh, yeah, we're gonna get to that in a sec. When Lively filed the letter about how she needs an extension and how she wants to, like, bring in all these other charges, even though she's only supposed to be getting attorney's fees. And, but that wasn't even the most breaking part. We're gonna get to that in a second. But yesterday, here, let me get to this. Yesterday, Kassidy said something that I hadn't picked up on yet, which was that in the settlement that Lively and Wayfarer had, because it was released by Megan Kelly, and but you can get it on docket updates. It's already linked in the description. Shout out to Karol. She's way on top of that. And I have it linked, so it should go right to that part. But in the settlement agreement, she said that basically there was a part where the parties, including Jen Abel, because Jen Abel signed this, that they cannot sue for Van Zandt. They can't bring up Van Zandt. And something about like they can't go talk about any of the other parties or like pursue any more legal things with any of the other parties, and one of it is including Van Zandt. And so that part was alarming to me. I don't know if anyone else has talked about it. Also, did you see the settlement was 17 pages? And which is funny because yeah, this is the settlement. It was 17 pages, like the 17-point list. That's what I was thinking when I read it. But I mean, it's good that there's no NDA. I think that's a great part of it. But this whole like the not being able to sue Van Zandt, remember, it's a sham subpoena for evidence laundering. If there's a sham lawsuit, she basically stole all this discovery without it is a complete violation of due process for all the other parties involved, and especially for Jen Abel. So I hope that this only is regarding like this action and no other actions, but I don't know. And oh, here we go. Is this part? Let me make sure you guys can see it. Hold on. Uh-oh. I'll put myself here and make this a little bit bigger for y'all. Okay, so see how it says Lively release of claims, but see, this is for Lively. Well, but still, I mean, maybe they're saying uh Reynolds, maybe they can go after for Van Zandt. He's the CEO of Van Zandt now, or Stephanie Jones. I don't know, but it said, yeah, except as reserved above in paragraphs 1B and C in exchange for the promises and covenants herein, Lively and Lively's heirs, executors, representatives, administrators, agents, including without limitation, oh, there you go, Ryan Reynolds, Van Zandt Inc. So I thought that was a good catch on Kassidy's part. Shout out to her. She's always on top of it. And I'm just like, that would break my heart. I hope that this doesn't preclude the Van Zandt coming up in the Jones Abel docket, because I can't believe that they would just let something like this slide, especially given what Lively's doing to them right now. Like, they settled, and now she's going on this whole like parade for all these fees and like acting like, I mean, she should have just gone to trial at this point, but we're over that. We're over her. She's not going to be relevant soon, so who cares? And so then let's go to, okay, oops. Sorry, 1 second. I need to go back to this slide. How are you guys doing today? Okay, hold on. This is not, I just want to make sure that this is sharing. You guys see this? Okay, cool. For some reason, it's just giving me a hard time again. Here we go. So basically on the stream with Karol, which, oh, I forgot to, I'm going to link that one. But this was when we got that letter, the last letter from Lively and Ezra saying that they need fees and they're on vacation and whatever. And we were saying something like, I wish we had been able to see the other Ryan Reynolds texts, because I thought that the ones that Ellen had mentioned about Malice had not been, I thought that they were not approved to be unsealed for some reason, because we never saw them. And then Karol is like, no, we just never got them. They're supposed to be unsealed. And I was like, wait, what? And so breaking news, I mean, and this is crazy. And I told Karol, I was like, look, Blake Lively can have her, let me make sure. Do I have sound? Okay, cool. Blake Lively can be like, I have her, former CIA person doing PR. She could have her Leslie Sloan doing PR. She can hire whoever the hell she wants, but nothing is going to get past Karol. Like, what a rock star she is to have paid attention. And she kept trying to say, oh, but it could be me. Maybe I just didn't find it. I was like, girl, it's not you. It's definitely not you. Because she went through the entire unsealing list. And then someone else had pointed out, because I guess it was in Rose's Wild. Shout out to Rose's Wild. She posted it in a Reddit. And then in that Reddit, some people said that the Jenny Slate deposition was not fully released either. And there could be more. And so, but Karol's very thorough. She said she's going to go through everything. Like, she wants to make sure, because she's going to get all the way up until she's like going through the rest of I think it was the MSJ docs or something. And if she doesn't see it in any of those, then, from there, she's going to do what she's going to do, or she's going to make sure we get them. So I just thought that was pretty cool. So stay tuned for that. And so that's actually my entire update on Lively, because I'm so excited for Legos. And I'm sorry if you're just here for Lively, but I will say, I'm going to play this short real quick, because I had posted it and then it got taken down. I thought I was using it said a royalty-free music. And apparently that doesn't mean license free. So it got a strike because I didn't have the right license. So, but then I thought it was such an important video that I ended up paying for the license. So now we have to I want to make sure that this video gets more views. So I'm going to play it really quick, and then we're going to go, we have a little tiny bonus case really quick, and then we're going to go right to Legos. Legos is so crazy. So where did I go? I'm right here. Right? Like, the Ryan texts are unsealed. They should do, like, why can't we see that?
The court said, go ahead and unseal them. Lively did not want them to be unsealed. And I listed the bait stamp numbers. I searched for the bait stamps, did not find them. I searched for the exhibits. I did not find them. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
So she was supposed to unseal them?
Yes, these were supposed to be unsealed.
Why didn't we get them?
I could be wrong.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. Because in Ellen's letter, because it was Ellen who wrote about something in his text that they had found that proved malice, or there was something,
yes.
I can't remember.
Yep.
So I want to see, maybe they all do.
So if you guys would like to take this on and help me find it, because again, it could be human error. It could be that I just didn't find them.
You guys, let's help her find this.
They're welcome to look for it.
So then how does that get remedied? Aren't you friends with Kevin Fritz now? Can't you send him a little Instagram message or something and be like,
it's me, don't hang up.
Yeah. How long have you been sitting on that?
Since the unsealing, it took.
They didn't have the grace to give Brian Friedman or his office an extension when Los Angeles was on fire. His office and his home were on fire. Like, when Gottlieb is like on vacation going to like Transylvania or wherever the hell vampires travel to, then like, let's give him an extension. And that guy, you can ask him at any second how much Lively owes him. He'll know.
Look how big he smiles though when they're talking about the money that they've collected.
He's laughing his way all the way to the bank.
He's like, you think it's just 30 mil that she dropped?
He's like, didn't you listen to Nag? I sold my soul for this case. So, isn't that crazy? I mean, and we just like kind of, that kind of found this on stream. I mean, Karol had already known about it, but like, I don't know. It was a shocker to me. I was like, girl, how long have you been sitting on this? crazy. And so Team Truth, you guys, everyone showed up, everyone was looking, and they're like, nope, we never got it, never got it. And so all of you guys are absolutely amazing. And let me just say hi, hello to Jessica Lisi, to Elsie, Roses Wild. Who else do we have here? Christina. Christina's in lurking mode. Well, good to see you, Christina. You are solely responsible for any of my Lego coverage, just letting you know. Hello, Pam. How are you doing? Valerie Barnes, how are you? Mary, of course, good to see you at the beach. Kenny, how are you doing, Kenny? Yes, at the beach. And then we have, who did I miss? Did I miss anyone? Alt Gen X made it to the live. How are you doing? We're so happy to see you. It's Friday. Yay. Mama Datia, it's always good to see you. Okay, so did I catch everyone? If I didn't, I'm so sorry. Oh, Lisa Puello, hello. How are you doing? So I think I caught almost everyone. So basically, yes. What do you guys think about that? You said Vansham should not be allowed to stand. Think of all the future victims and past victims, right? How many times? It seemed so calculated the way they did it. I just feel like they must have done it before. And that's the other thing with this Lego case and the Lively case. There's so many parallels. Like this is like a sham subpoena. In the Lego case, it was like a sham search warrant. Like insane what is happening with these parallels of these abuses of the judicial system, really. But I don't think it should be allowed to stand. And I just think Wayfarer is really too nice. And I'm kind of hoping that whatever they signed in that language does not prevent Jen from going after Van Zandt and her lawsuit, but maybe her and Stephanie Jones are settling already, so they already knew. I mean, I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I have no idea. But I mean, if I was Jen Abel, I would want to see Stephanie Jones in freaking jail for stealing her phone and publishing everything. And God, crazy. At this point, what can be done, though? I don't know, except for exposing them, which everyone's doing, or writing a law to disallow it. I think it is. I don't really think it is actually legal what they did, like technically. And then, yeah, Pam says, I wonder how many times they've done this Van Shan type stuff before. I'm guessing pretty much a lot. So, but we'll see. That case. I think our next update for it is going to be sometime in August. So it'll be a while. Free the text messages, free the Ryan Reynolds text messages. And you know what's crazy is like the ones that were released were absolutely diabolical, right? Of Ryan Reynolds. It made him look like a complete psycho. I mean, I hate to talk about like, one of the top 250 immigrants that way, but he seemed like a complete psycho. And it was very alarming and scary language. Like, I really think someone said like their head should be studied. I agree. But like that wasn't even, I mean, imagine what they hid then. If they hid it, maybe it was just a quote accident. But I think that these lawyers know exactly what they're doing. Hello, Tiffany. She says, grocery shopping. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I do mine on Saturday. So, okay. So we're going to go right into this. Hello, Roses. I think I said hi to Roses Wild. You said, I think Vansham was legal in California, but the purpose was to prevent stuff from being deleted before the case was filed, not intended to use as silencing and scare. I don't think it was legal. First of all, they did Vansham in the New York court. It was Samantha Katz from Manat, who we never saw again. And then also, I think Vansham would definitely not be legal in California. They have a lot stricter policies when it comes to data, even like personal data on company or corporate devices. They have a lot stronger privacy laws. So I think what they did was insane, really. I just think that they're gross people. Hello, ISIS email. It says in docket 1245 attachment 1, there's a chart and it says 2 things are omitted. Okay. Well, why didn't they include them? Are you talking about the 2 texts, the 2 Ryan Reynolds texts? By the way, you made a great comment. Sorry, I should have shouted you out earlier. You said about the fees, how New York Times had already filed their fees, right, on the same docket for the defamation claim being dismissed. And it was like, what, like 100,000 or something? So Lively has to pretty much stay in that range, but unless she's going to try to argue, her whole 10 pages, double spaced, remember, they can use footnotes. It didn't say no footnotes this time, but we'll see. Good Lord, Lively is being this horse. She is. She's ridiculous, really. It says, California, you have to inform everyone on the subpoena. Well, everywhere, that's what you're supposed to do, not just California. I mean, like literally everywhere, unless it really is an anonymous person. But this was not an anonymous person. Vansham is not illegal, but it's not exactly ethical. I don't know. I have questions. Hey, Jungle Vet Jill. Girl, we're gonna get to the bird part of the Lego case. You have a headache, going to be listening with your eyes closed. But I love it because Jungle Vet Jill, you know, she right away like clocked it when I did the video about the bird, one of the very first comments. And we're gonna get to that. That's the Lego case. You said, can we have a Snuggles update, please, DFJ? Yes. So yesterday, Snuggles, the dog, I think most of you guys remember that case, and with the dog in Pima County where Nancy Guthrie is. Hold on, let me just pull it up so you can have a visual while I say it really quick. But yeah, basically they did get an attorney yesterday, so that's like such a relief, right? And here, I'll share this one. So that was a huge relief, and the family filed they asked for an extension basically to file their like response in the appeal, and then the Tucson city prosecutor said like filed this like whole long thing with a bunch of exhibits basically saying like no, they shouldn't get an extension. It was really like, especially like I just felt it was very disrespectful the way they responded. I mean, like this is literally a life and death case for an innocent living creature, and I think that if someone needs an extension, I don't think that's too much to ask for, because she was having a lot of trouble, you know, securing a lawyer, because it's like it's hard for local attorneys to want to take this case because you're kind of going against these government agencies. PAC is a government funded agency. So anyways, but on I don't know if an answer came in yet. I haven't checked the docket today, but if the judge didn't respond by today, then we'll know on Monday. Then her actual response will be due, and she's ready for that either way. So yeah, pretty crazy, but she has a lot of people are fighting for her. There's more emails here, and I'll put it in the description afterwards if you want to send some more emails to the people, the decision makers involved. Everyone was emailing the mayor today. So yeah, #SaveSnuggles. Crazy, crazy case. Okay. That is what I remember Nag saying. Yeah. Well, I just feel like all the lawyers have different takes on the whole Van Zandt thing. I mean, I think that I don't think what they did was it was definitely not ethical. I think that's kind of like understood across the board, but I don't think it was actually legal what they did. These weren't dough. If they had done it legally, what they should have done is once they found out the names of the people involved, then you add it on to the Doe lawsuit. You change Doe and you put it in the names. That's not what they did. They closed the lawsuit so that it was going to fly under the radar. What they did, I think, was very wrong. Hello Mama says, I don't think lawyers can issue subpoenas without a judge in California. Yeah, I don't think so either. So New York is shady. Yeah. In New York, they can, but it was a contract dispute lawsuit but so they have to add the names. Tiffany says the judge never signed off on the subpoena, so it should have never been delivered. Thank you. Yes, there was no judge even assigned to the case. So what they did was very wrong. I just think you can't have a contract with Jay and John Doe. The whole lawsuit doesn't make sense. I think so many things of what they do is very ethically crosses a line. So, screw Blake Lively. I've already talked about her for 20 minutes now. DFJ, can you Google New York Times and how did Lively get those damaging texts? Why? What is it? You want me to Google that exact thing? New York Times and how did Lively get those damaging texts? What am I supposed to be looking at here? Oh, from 2024? How did Blake Lively's lawyers obtain bombshell texts from Justin Baldoni? Is that what you're talking about? You let me know. Okay, so yes, Rosa Wild said it was illegal. Other people have tried doing it since then and had legal actions against them. Kassidy did a stream on it. I remember one was in North Carolina where attorney was caught doing it. And different jurisdictions have, most of the bar, like the state bars like that are supposed to like oversee the attorneys. Most of them suck. They are terrible. Almost all of them, I think, don't really do anything. But I feel like actually Arkansas, I was impressed with how, I don't know if I was impressed with their bar, but I was impressed with the Supreme Court there. And with what they did with the Aaron Spencer case, you know, like taking action like that. And there was a lot of people that were invested in that case. But other than that, I don't really see any of the bars ever like taking action, disciplinary action against lawyers almost ever. It takes a lot. Some attorneys speculated that the subpoena had the hallmark of a so-called friendly subpoena, where one side is seeking records from another party who can use the subpoena as legal cover. It was not friendly. It was stupid. It was ridiculous. So we're moving on. So speaking of crazy and stupid and ridiculous, we're done with the lively. We're going on to the next segment. Sorry. This was just a surprise thing, you guys. Okay, this is crazy. This is just a little short random thing before we get into Legos, but did you guys see this? This dropped yesterday. So these are two streamers. They both cover a lot of true crime stuff, Nerdy Addict and JLR Investigates. And Nerdy Addict yesterday filed a defamation suit against JLR Investigates. I don't know how you all feel about this, if you even know who these people are. If you follow any like true crime cases, you've probably seen one of them. JLR was heavily like involved with the Nancy Guthrie. I think he's actually even back in Arizona right now. So I just thought the whole thing was really funny. Okay, wait, hold on. I have the actual lawsuit just to show you some of the funny parts of it. This is not it. Hold on. It's in this one. Yeah, complaint of demand for jury trial. Let me just open it for you guys real quick. But here were some of the exhibits from it, and I just thought it was funny because he said, here's like a JLR poster. He's like, I asked Nerdy Addict, aka Ali Eslami, about abusing children and beating women, and he runs to the police. First Amendment, pal. So, and he like posts pictures of him at the airport. I mean, these guys, this is just like, I mean, it kind of gives like the true crime a little bit of a bad name. I don't know if I'm honest. I just think, you know, we'll see what happens. I wasn't like told. I mean, the lawsuit was just really funny. Okay, so here is this one. But like, just, you know, it's basically defamation. He's asking for something between like $30,000 and $50,000. And there's 2 counts of defamation. But then these were like, okay, so this is the exhibit list. Look how long this is. This is so funny. So, and then how he like posts the subpoena on the door. I mean, the exhibits, I think this is kind of what got me. That was really funny. Like he says, he's pressing charges on me for disorderly conduct. I asked him questions about his past child abuse when he got off a plane. He's now under criminal investigation for threatening me with bodily harm. I'm getting a citation. I mean, these guys are crazy. They should be on the same side, in my opinion. But like, this is insane. So, and I don't really know what happened. I didn't even know Nerdy was really covering the case. I don't always follow all of his things because like he gets like super hyper focused sometimes, like on for example, the airplane paths that were going on. There's always airplanes, but he gets like so hyper focused with the Nancy Guthrie case. Every time an airplane went over Tucson, he was like super invested in it. It felt like, so not any airplane, but like any airplane that wasn't commercial flight. Let's just say that. And so he even like was like had people messaging Brian Enton at all hours of the morning. So I can't follow that type of stuff. For me, I like facts, you know, I don't like to tease or, you know, I don't like to post things that I can't follow up on. So whatever. It's a little bit different. Everyone does things different. They're both entertaining. You have the right to follow both of them or none of them. Is Nancy Guthrie still missing? Yes. It's Pima County where the dog is. So they kill puppies and they can't find grandmas. It's like that something is really wrong in Pima County, in my opinion, allegedly. So anyways, that's just like a little funny. It says JLR has like 1,000 score. Yeah. He I think he literally has a Guinness Book of World Records for lawsuits. Like he's used to sue everyone. Whatever. I think they're probably both really, really great, awesome people. It's not a big deal. I just thought it was funny. I was just like, why is this even happening? Like, why can't everyone just be friends? Why can't everyone be nice to each other? Whatever. So that was just a side thing. I'm going to close that because we're going to go back to the slides because we're going to get into Legos. Oh, I'm so excited. Here we go. Let me just make sure I close that. I had so many tabs open. So we're going into Legos. Y'all ready for this? Hi, Lori Jane. How are you? Good to see you. Christina says, it is my understanding that it is legal in New York. What makes it shady is they don't replace the John Does, which then can make it illegal. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I said. That they didn't. That's what the protocol is. If you are going to have a Doe lawsuit, and they did not do that. So, yeah, I think that makes it shady, super, super shady. But I think everything they do is super shady, in my opinion, allegedly. So, okay, we're getting into Legos. You guys, okay, Uhaul, Legos, and trafficking. So, let me get right into this. So, Chrystal strikes back. So, if you don't remember, Chrystal was the owner of the Bricks and Minifigs, or BAM, in Salem, Oregon, and then they took over her store when she said that she had to leave. And I have the lawsuit right here, but oh wow, her shout out to her lawyers, because so she's suing Bricks and Minifigs, okay, on her own, but she's not named in the RICO lawsuit where Bricks and Minifigs is suing Ben, the YouTuber who exposed this whole thing. Okay, are you all still with me, following? I know this case can be a little complicated, but so what she did, because the TRO, that the temporary restraining order that's on Ben, Reckless Ben, the YouTuber, was very broad, and it kind of like it basically almost covered her in a way. So her lawyer is awesome, and let's see if I can highlight this. Yeah, and basically they moved for limited intervention in this action for the single purpose of being heard at or before. This is June 30th now, I think. Preliminary injunction hearing on this. Okay. Yeah. So basically they're saying you need to like let us out of this TRO. Like it's not it's not like a very legal TRO. It's very overbroad. And I think it's a violation of civil rights, really. This is a special limited appearance. The law, Gorman. Okay, because her last name is, well, I think she's married to someone named Ben Law, but we don't want to, is if we say Ben, it gets so confusing. So her partner is Mr. Law, Gorman parties, or it's Chrystal Law maybe, and his name is Gorman. I don't know. Sorry if I got that wrong. But basically, the Law Gorman parties do not submit to the jurisdiction of this court for any purposes, do not appear as defendants, do not waive service, joinder, any defense, and expressly reserve all rights. Okay, so they're still saying like we're not under jurisdiction, but we're filing this because you guys basically are silencing us, and that's just wrong. They said, yeah, they've never been named here, yet the ex parte TRO entered in this case defines the scope of its central mandatory provision by direct reference to one of them. Paragraph 5K commands the removal of co-defendant's publication that in any way relates to the private legal dispute underlying this matter between Brian and Chrystal is movement Chrystal Law. So yeah, the fact so she's named in the TRO, but she's not part of this lawsuit. So it's like, how can you silence her when she's not even part of this? It's wrong. And I think a lot of things this judge has done is wrong, but shout out to her lawyer, because he just basically just says how like, yeah, they're entitled to intervene, basically just asserts her rights. And it's like, she can talk about this case and she shouldn't be part of this TRO. And by the way, the TRO seems very unethical. And, I think that it could be a problem for the court. So shout out to her, because Ben's lawyer should have done something like this and they haven't. I don't know why. I don't think he has a lawyer for this case yet. He only has lawyers for the charges against him by American Fork PD, but not yet in the RICO case. Crazy, right? So, yeah. Anyways, it just says, yeah, disposition preliminary action. Okay. So, an alternative, the court should grant permissive intervention. The requested intervention is limited and special. Basically, the law Gorman parties do not seek to become defendants or vote parties. They ask leave only to, one, file the accompanying motion to modify or dissolve the TRO, and to oppose entry of a preliminary injunction of the same scope. And yeah, and they want to be heard at this at the hearing. So shout out to them. I think that's absolutely amazing. Good on Chrystal. And yeah, let's go to the next one, which is, you guys, this judge. So speaking of like terrible judges, I think Lyman, of course, is a terrible judge, but of course we're gonna have a terrible judge here. But oops, I'm not sharing. Sorry. But this judge, you guys, was it Provo, Utah? Judge Tony Graf does it all. So he is overseeing the Charlie Kirk case. So he oversees murder. He oversaw the divorce case of Daniel McNeff. Daniel McNeff is the father of Eamon McNeff, the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs. and that was in 2020. This is not like it was a really long time ago. This was like 5 years ago. And he's also overseeing the RICO case. Do they not have like any other judges in this courthouse or something? Like he's overseeing it all. I don't know, but even despite all of this, it's like he did not even. I think what he did was very amateur with the temporary restraining order. I think was overbroad. I think it should get overturned, and I think it could actually be. It could be like problematic enough that they could probably even ask to kick him off the case, in my opinion, allegedly. I'm just saying. So, DFJ, have you seen the BAM's connection map? I have seen it. I'll pull it up in a second. But the only problem I have with it, is it all Claude or something? Because it seems super, super, super AI. So sometimes I have problems with that, like what, because like we'll say it cites something, but then when you go to click it, you can't click it. So that's the only thing issue I have with it, but it has some cool stuff in there. So I'll show it in a second. Remind me. Don't think Ben has a lawyer in this case. You're right. I haven't seen it. Hello, everyone. Hello, Max Rebo. Happy Friday. Okay, so let's keep going. Hi, Veronica. Good to see you. Look, Pussy Destroyer. Nice name. Hi. Okay, and then Rose's Wild said it was sus she moved out of the country 5 minutes before all that stuff was stolen. That's not really how it went down. She told Bricks and Minifigs that she was going to be moving and she wanted to know the process for the store. It wasn't 5 minutes before everything was stolen. It was good. Actually, she wasn't even going to move. I think it wasn't going to be for like another month. And after she told them that, within like a few days, they came and they did a takeover of her store without any notice and basically walked in and kicked her out of the store. And she's like, oh, wait, what? And we're going to get into that because that's what happened, why she didn't get her bird back. But Chrystal is not the sus person here. It's all BAM. I just want to make sure that's clear to everyone. I mean, you can have your opinions, of course, but from everything I've seen, there's only one, in my opinion, there's only one bad actor here, and it's BAM. So July 1st, I have a link, but ABC's they got approval to stream, and this is I want to say this is the American Fork hearing for Ben, and this is the one where he does have the lawyer. So it's July 1st, and it says 8:30, but I swear I saw somewhere else it was like at noon. So I'm gonna have to double check that time. I'll make sure to post it on my YouTube for the time. But I have a link. So they have links like for the public, but you can't stream the public link. If you're gonna stream it, you have to get approval, which ABC does. So if once they post that, then we can watch on that one. So just there's going to be we need a calendar. That's the only thing that we don't really have yet. I want a consolidated calendar of all of the actions of all the things going on in all the actions. That's the only thing I haven't seen yet. And yeah, so we're going to get back to this. We're going to get straight into Josh Johnson, this guy. So hello, man. I hope well, they got permission to stream it. ABC did. No, it wasn't 5 minutes. I used 5 minutes to mean it was just a short time. Yeah, but she was going to be moving out of the country anyways. So it wasn't that she was like leaving the country because of anything wrong with the store or anything. Like, in fact, it seemed like she had a pretty respectful store. She had a lot of loyal customers, and Brian had a good relationship with her. She was paying out the layaways. She even had some clients that were like younger teenagers that were like, there was one that was so excited they wanted the Ewok set or something and was putting down money every week for it. And we don't even know if they got it now. We don't even know if BAM honored some of the layaway because they kicked her out before she could even like tally up everything and before she could get her bird, which we're going to get into next. Mary said, I think it said it was written by A, but I'm not sure. It's Claude. I mean, it looks like Claude here. I'll just show you real quick. BAM map. And so that's the only reason why. That's the only reason why I didn't really want to share it was because I don't like sharing things that aren't like super verified, I can't even find it anymore, but it's okay. We'll get back. There's a lot of other things that we have to cover. BAM did this over $200,000. Yes, Chai, Arizona. Yes, that's exactly it. All of this was over $200,000. Isn't that insane? Or they could have just given the Legos back to her or to him. But instead, this is what they did. And so it's kind of international now. Like they are so it's so ridiculous how they keep doubling down. But it's like the same thing with Blake Lively. It's like she should have just stopped. She should have just stopped when she was ahead, but she had to keep going. And then when she kept going, and then every other thing, like so many things were exposed. Like, I didn't really buy the New York Times article, but I didn't like viscerally hate her until the lawsuit started. And then I was like, this woman is insane. And then everything came out about her, right? The same thing is happening here. And if these guys, like if anyone in their circle has even like one iota of common sense, they'll tell them we need to just stop, back away, apologize, and just be done, because it's going to get even worse. The amount of digging people have done into this case and how much they've exposed is crazy. It's so insane. Who is the bad actor? BAM, Bricks and Minifigs. So that's the Lego store, or not Lego store, sorry. That is the brick and mortar that does they basically, buy and sell bricks and minifigs, which is like Legos and minifigures, and it's like basically almost like a pawn shop for it, but they're a franchise. There's a bunch of them. They're the bad actors because they do a lot of bad things that we've been covering on this channel. Squash Any says, is there anything Ben could do to get this escalated to a federal court? Well, he's the defendant, so I don't think so. I'm not sure about that. And I'm not even sure if he would want to do that, because the thing with federal, you don't get cameras. And this case is a case, if this does go to trial, let me tell you, cameras you're going to want cameras no matter what. Like, I feel like it's going to be so important. It's going to be like what we saw with the Afro Man case, when it was on display like that, and you saw like the overreach of the Adams County Sheriff's Police Department or whatever, and how ridiculous what they did was. And it was all, and we got to see those idiotic officers on the stand, like crying, saying that they were victims because people sent lemon pound cakes to their office, and they sent like 20-pound cakes. Like, oh my God. These wannabe victims, it's insane. It's like, well, you did raid a guy's house and knock down his door and his gate and didn't apologize and accuse him of an insane crime and scared the crap out of his family and had AR-15s in the same place as kids live. Like, you're not really sorry you had some lemon pound cake sent to your office, sir. The guys were so stupid. Yes, they did take her bird. We're going to get to that. So, okay. Christina says, over 300 stores in the U.S., I believe, but I didn't fact check that myself. I think so, too. I think it was about that much. Mary says, not just a big company, but layers and layers of LLCs covering each other's tracks. Yeah, it's insane. When I see a ton of LLCs, I think scam, so it is hard to follow the money. Exactly. It is. And they're crazy. And we'll show a map in a second. Isn't one of them already federal? Well, which one? The RICO? I don't think so. Hold on, let me see. I do have it. Hold on. Oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on. I don't think it, maybe, let me see. Because this one is the 4th District Court in, okay, so this Utah County, state of Utah. So this one is not. Let me see what the other one is. I don't think so, but maybe. Let me just pull it up. I have, hold on. I have to pull up the complaint on, oh, it's on this one. So we'll go to, this has all of so this is bamsucks.com. And we have all the cases. This is crazy, right? Look at this. Okay, wait, hold on a second. Okay, so Bricks and Minifig. Okay, this is a franchise. I want the cases. This is the records. Okay. This is the federally court. Well, the legally mined stuff was in federal court. So, but that's, okay, Chrystal Law and the Benjamin Gorman case is, okay, Utah business one, that's not federal. American Fork is obviously not federal. Bricks and Minifig, civil case in Utah 4th District Court. Okay, let's go. I don't think this is federal. Maybe. Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. No, I don't think it is. Yeah. But anyways, because then it says like the jurisdiction is, I don't know. I'll come back to that. Sorry, I'm having a total brain lapse. Don't ask me these hard questions on a Friday, Christina. Just kidding. I thought Bam was the jerk on the steps in one of DFJ's slides until just last week. Well, he does work for BAM. That's Josh Johnson. We're going to get there. And his face has gone international. I know, BJ, that Mitton is going to one of the court cases because cameras aren't allowed. So it might be, so maybe it is that one. Yeah, that could be it then. So, but he did divorce that same judge so that judge is doing federal and state cases. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that more. I feel really bad. I'm not giving the right answer for that, but I'll look into it and I'll come back and maybe even do a whole video about it to correct the record because I hate being wrong and I don't like to say things that I haven't researched. So let me go back here. I just want to show you. So this is Josh Johnson, okay? So this is the loser, right? He works for Bricks and Minifigs, or what? Basically him and Brandon Best they would be told by corporate, they would go in to quote rescue these stores where they would really just take them over and then become the new owners. And so it doesn't really make sense because they were the ones who had the authority to do the quote like inventory of the stores, but then they would take it over for whatever they value the store at. So obviously they're going to be like, oh, this store is like, they're in the negative. They have nothing here. They owe a bunch of money. They don't have a lot of inventory. So like, I think, it's only worth this much. And that's how much we're going to take it over for, in my opinion, allegedly. So, but this guy, this Johnson guy is a total loser. We've seen so much body cam of him now. And he's gone international. So this is from like, I think it was a meme someone made, they put the little Lego thing in his hand. But this was in like a North Korean paper. It's now gone in Italy. I heard that it's been talked about in Germany, in the UK. I mean, this case is international because these entitled, egotistical, maniac idiots would not pay for the freaking Legos. Isn't that insane? So, has anyone lost track of what's an AI image in this case and what's real? No. I mean, this is obviously, we saw the body cam, so we know this is not real, right? He didn't do that. So this judge does family law, criminal law, and civil. Something smells fishy. Thank you, Tiffany. And that's why I was a little confused when they said, is it in federal court? That would make sense, but I don't know. I need to check. Same DFJ. That's why I had to let the chat know I'm a little out of the loop. Okay. Well, aren't we? It's okay. There's so much. This case has so much that it's hard to be totally in the loop. Like it would take your whole, like your whole day to catch up on everything that happens in this case. I think she said she's going to the one that ABC just got approval, or she said she might. I don't know. She hasn't said yes or no. So the ABC one, since that is being streamed, that's not federal. That's a state one. And also we know that's a state one because it's the American Fork Police charges against Ben. So that's definitely not federal. I hope he isn't another Baldonian getting screwed by the courts. Well, he has money for a lawyer, so I don't know. Hi, Sam Tornado. Really enjoying this channel. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So let's just get into the meat of everything. Because okay, so first of all, let's talk about these recent texts. Okay. So Coffee bust JJ again. So again, it's Joshua Johnson. I call him JJ. And then we have Brandon Best. I call him BB because JJ BB is easier like that. And so if you're not a member of Coffeezilla's Patreon, that's how he supports his incredible work and investigation that he does. A lot of us have seen the video, which he posted after he had posted on his Patreon. It's a great video and intro to this case. If you are still if you're interested in this case and you're catching up. But anyway, so he was in contact with Josh Johnson, and shout out to this person on Reddit, Run It's Aaron, because that's where I saw this. So I just want to make sure I give him credit, but I'm going to blow it up for us. So here are these text messages that Coffeezilla had with Josh Johnson, and they're pretty damning, and we're just going to look at them real quick. So basically, Coffee says, you told the police, quote, the vast majority of the items in the store were layaway items. And he said, this is Josh Johnson, that is either an exaggeration by the police officer or a mistake by me. A, there was no list left of any layaway. The only layaway I am aware of was the Ewok Village. B, so by the way, if that teenager never got his Ewok Village, Josh Johnson just admitted in writing he was aware of it. So I hope that teenager gets their Ewok Village. B, I had nothing to do with the day-to-day operations of the store. I wouldn't know if there were layaways. I wouldn't have been asked about it either. Amanda, the store manager, or the two employees that were under Chrystal and Brandon Best, Caledonia and Mackenzie. Okay. And then he said, someone told me yesterday there was 3K sold of Star Wars that may match the list from when Brandon took over and we signed in January. It wouldn't be unreasonable to believe some or all of that is layaway. Okay. And also, he's saying when Brandon took over. But remember, in the body cam footage, he says he owned the store. And let me just pull this up really quick because I actually remember we showed it in another one of the lives. We actually have the oh, it's not this one. Hold on. We had the, what is it called? The LLC, right? Let me see. Is his name on it? I have it right here. We're going to go to this really quick. Okay. So this was Brandon. Okay, so Brandon Best. When was Josh Johnson's name added to this? But here, remember, Brandon Best did this on 11/15, and they took over the store on 11/14. So like he basically had already bought it and was doing the inventory for it. So what the hell was Josh doing? Because Josh eventually was one of the owners of the store, just like the Eugene store. And was it here that he said that? It's on a different video, but here, let's go back to, let me just, I don't like to get too off track. Let's just go back to this one really quick to finish seeing what he's saying. So he says that, so basically he just admits here that there could be 3,000 sold of Star Wars that may match the list from when Brandon took over and when we signed. So we, in January. Okay. It wouldn't be unreasonable to believe some or all of that is layaway. Okay, so now he's admitting there's layaway. Remember, he told the officers, oh, only 2 or 3 things. But I wouldn't be the one to be reliable on that. I was not involved in many of the details of the store. Something I would have said is, this is like he's saying, what I would have said is, it is unknown what is layaway and what isn't. They all could be, who knows? A police officer may interpret that differently. So now he's blaming the police. These guys can't take accountability for anything. The police that had your back, that did everything that you asked them to do, that like did not serve you the lawsuit that they should have lawfully just given to you or dropped at your feet and said, you've been served, dude. The ones that arrested a bunch of innocent people, you're saying that they might have interpreted what you said differently. I wouldn't be throwing those people under the bus, but I'm glad you are because it really shows who you are, Josh Johnson. Then it says we would have held on to them for a period of time in case there was layaway. Did you? Then why the hell did you show up with a U-Haul that night? It is also reasonable to believe that all those layaway sets have been sold. It would have been easy to figure out exactly how many there were. Look at these sales records from November 14th to January 14th. See what Star Wars sets were sold. Look at the sale price and what the sale price should have been. If we sold it for like 50% off, then it would be reasonable to believe that was layaway. I mean, what is he even like saying anymore? Are you guys following any of this? Jason, whack, hello. I just made a video called I Found the Money They Stole from Old People because I found where the dad, Dan McNeff, has his assets. Well, yeah, and that's a whole other like part of this case. It's like it really is a rabbit hole to go down the LLC. It's the LLC rabbit hole. It's like crazier than crazy. And it seems like something they do a lot. And it looks like a lot of the dates of them were changed right around like when Ben's video dropped and when he filed or the lawsuits in Oregon or whatever. So it's, yeah. And what is it? Legally Mine. And then the person who started Legally Mine that Dan took over from, my God, Jay Mitton or something. Whoa. What someone posted something about that guy, and that guy is crazy. I mean, there's so much to this case. It's crazy. Also supports reckless spend on Patreon because right now it's one of the only forms of income. Yes. Charlie Kirk estate, right? Yeah, it should be. Yes, it is. Because I think that they're trying to argue for cameras in that case. So yeah, that's state. So that would make sense. I think this one has to be state, but I don't know. I feel bad. I think it is because when I looked it up, I want to say it was I want to say it's state, but I'm going to have to come back. I feel so bad. I'm going to have to come back and timestamp this part and let y'all know everything about that. Josh on this screen right now. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's just keep going. Hi, DFJ. I will catch start of live on replay. Okay, sounds good. Aloha. Hello, cereal eater. How are you doing? Okay. So the needle pig says gray equals JJ, green equals coffee. Exactly. So coffee is in the green and word salad. Yes, JJ is nothing but a word salad. All of these guys are. Where are these texts from, Sin Mary? So these texts are from Coffeezilla. He posted on the Patreon. So that's why I wanted to make sure I gave credit to the Patreon. However, these were posted, someone else posted them in the Reddit, which, you know, we just want to make sure that that Coffeezilla is supportive. Like if you have the extra disposable income and you want to go there to get these updates first, because he posted it there after he had already done the video. So these were follow-up texts with Josh Johnson. So there's 2 more left. So let's go through it. So this is Coffeezilla in green. He says, but what I don't understand is why the officer would put in his report that you said that if that isn't true. And Josh Johnson says, like the Ewok Village, look what we sold it for, what the real value or the normal sale price was. With that one, you would be able to see Chrystal took, say, 500 and we collected another 300. I don't know what officer. When was that? I don't control what they put in their report. Josh Johnson. Really? Really? You know, you do look at it though, and you can sign it. Like, I mean, this guy is crazy. You know, and it's fine. You don't control what they put in the report. That's right, Josh Johnson. So thank goodness we have the body cam footage where you completely say something different. And we'll pull that up in a second. But let's just keep going. So then, and if this is hard to see, hold on, let me try to make it bigger. So this is the police report. And so Coffee highlights this part. It says, however, due to the what? The something that Mr. Okay, I can't even see this. What is that from, you guys? Due to the what? Stores. Okay, so he said something about, I don't know what actually that says, but it basically says Kaiser Police, May 6, Jennifer Stearns was the officer who signed off on this. It was in 2025. And he says, oh, that's understandable. I was out of my mind angry. I was pissed. Nothing I said was coherent or reliable. Let's just look at the sale records. It's also reasonable to believe that nobody is going to lay away small ticket items. That's not reasonable to believe. There were teenagers, said Chrystal, that did have lower ticket items on layaway. Only say 500 in value or more. That's not true. So look at the sets that were sold that have retail value of 500 or more and see if we sold them for 30% off or more. That will answer the question. So, but here's the thing, Josh Johnson, and I hope this haunts you for the rest of this lawsuit until it goes away or until you end up behind bars. Nothing I said was coherent or reliable. I'm so glad we put that in. You put that in writing, you stupid, stupid, stupid little man. Because, and I have a reason for really not liking this guy. That means he has motive, means, U-Haul, an opportunity to minimize and hide the true inventory from corporate and Chrystal. Exactly. Nailed it. You guys, this is why I love this crossover of Lively and Lego, because both of you guys are so detail oriented and I love it. And so justice, like you want to see justice so bad. And so there's so many angles of this case and people are doing incredible work covering it. The Neopig says, the thing that blows my mind is BB does the inventory, but he's going to purchase the store for the price. Yeah, exactly. For the store for the price, the inventory from corporate. And then that part, that means he has motive, means, and opportunity. Yeah, to minimize and hide the true inventory. 1,000%. This is like, they are so corrupt. It's so crazy. Kenny says, sorry, I missed the whole thing, but I'll replay crew. Okay, Kenny, take your time. It's good to see you. Welcome back. Hello, Gelth. Wonders and late because I'm being lazy on this Saturday morning. Oh, yeah, you live in the future. Well, it's good to see you, Gelth. Okay, so 25 Anomaly says, it goes up in price, you lose out, and if it goes down, the customer doesn't pay it off. Okay, and then 25 Anomaly says, oh, what kind of store that deals with items that quickly go up and down in value take layaway? I don't know. I don't know, but it sounds like she had a really big not big, sorry, but like a really loyal customer base. He sounded angry, pissed in the body cams. Does that mean anything he said to the officers is not reliable either? Bingo, nailed it. Nailed it right there. Exactly. Yes, Gelth, I did cover that already. I already showed it, and I also got a link for that stream too. So we're going to go to, let me just go to this next page. Hold on one second. But, yeah, I just want to go here. This is okay. So my disdain for Josh Johnson. Let me just tell you guys something. So of all the things in this case, yes, in my opinion, they stole from old people. They stole this old man's, Star Wars Lego set. They completely, in my opinion, did the hostile takeover of Chrystal. I think what they did to her was completely unethical. I think it was wrong. They basically hijacked her store on false pretenses, in my opinion, allegedly, and showed up with a U-Haul, when they're taking over her store. Like, that's not suspicious at all, right? I mean, in my opinion, these guys are monsters. We heard this isn't the first time they've done this to franchise owners. And in my opinion, this isn't the first time they've stolen from people. But this part, the part about the bird, don't worry, there's no trigger warnings. Like, we don't actually know what happened to the bird. But what they did to the bird, in my opinion, I think is the worst of it all. And so there was a parakeet in the store. Oh yeah, I'm going to get to that really quick. So the parakeet is part of the store. Did you guys all see this video that I did of the breakdown on Tattle? Because a lot of people haven't seen it. I wonder if I should pull it up really quick. But there was a guy who actually covered my coverage of it. But basically, so what happened was, when they took over the store, so her car, Tattle has a big cage. When they took over the store that night, I mean, they basically, remember, she was on the phone and they were telling her to get out. And they were telling her that she could do this the easy way or the hard way, and that they can call the officers, that she'll be trespassing if she's not out of there. And they wouldn't even let her. She was literally at the register trying to show the receipts to like figure out, like, we have this whole consignment thing. Remember, they acknowledged the consignment and they said, well, that's ours to deal with now. All of that. Okay. But then she had to leave. So she figured, in her own words, that she would be able to, that the bird would be okay, that she'd be able to get it at a different time. And that in the morning, because the bird lives there. And so because she can put the cage in the car, that the employees would look after the bird and let her know if there's any problem, and she can come get it later. Well, it turns out the next day, on the camera she has up, she sees that, first of all, Josh Johnson showed up, was at the store the next day. His truck was there, which she has video of, but it was not saved. So she has a screenshot of the video. But she saw in the video him putting a bunch of trash in his car, and she saw him put the bird cage in the car. So, and actually, I wonder if I should just pull up that part of the video. Let me go to my YouTube really quick to show you guys. Here we go. Wandering liars. Where's the bird? And let's get right into this. First of all, remember what Ammon, the CEO, said.
However, the bird was, taken to a no-kill shelter, and hopefully it's been now rehomed. So the bird is hopefully in very good hands right now.
All right.
Fake. Yes. 1 billion, trillion, gazillion %.
Okay.
So for the first time, I think I actually agree with Josh Johnson here that what Ammon said sounds pretty fake to me. So, with Ammon, that CEO, it's just, I find it so strange that he seems to know nothing about what happened to the store. He has no idea what happened with the layaway. He has no idea what happened with the Legos, but somehow he knows exactly what happened with the bird. He knew about the bird and where it went. What? Like, does that make sense to anyone? Okay, so then Chrystal says the story. Okay, so here was the screenshot part. So this is so funny. So this is from the body cam. You could we see his truck, and it's the same one that Chrystal basically saw. Josh Johnson's truck was at the store the next day. Remember, they took over her store at night. It was sometime like after 6 p.m. at night on the 14th, and then on the 15th, Josh Johnson's truck is at the store. He is at the store, and she said she does not have the video saved, but she saw the video, and this timestamp for the truck was around 3 p.m. She thinks, but she doesn't recall exactly what time she saw the bird cage being thrown in with the trash in the truck. And fair enough, it was a while ago now, and also probably super traumatizing for her. And also, she's still kind of in this weird TRO thing that her lawyer's fighting. So, we can't hold her to any of that stuff right now. It's not fair. But what is fair, she had the wherewithal to take a screenshot. She just took a screenshot to document that Josh was at her store on the 15th. Look, taking a bunch of trash in his car. So, but she said she saw him put the cage in the car. And I think that was one of the big problems. And then, wait, hold on. Let me go to my slides really quick. Sorry, there's I have a lot of tabs open. Yeah, okay, so on that video though, okay, so let's just keep going with the video really quick so you guys can see what the whole point was, because then I go on to show that that basically I looked up where you could relinquish a bird in Salem, a pet bird, and I looked up every single one. So I did like I first Googled it, and then this one person who covered me was like, "Well, this is like Google Gemini. It's not accurate." I was like, "All right, I'm not saying that that's accurate, but I used that to come up with a list." And on that list, I went into every single one that they listed of all. This was one of the rescues. This was another one of the rescues, and all of them said you either have to most of them you have to make an appointment. You can't just bring the bird by. And then they almost all require a donation. And some people that I think I think they worked in a vet or something told me like one of the reasons for that is, you want to make sure you screen them for like avian flu and stuff. So the donation is to cover like the vet fees that will be needed. And almost all of them say they request if it's a pet bird that you turn it in with its cage. So it doesn't make it. So they're saying that the bird was relinquished to a rescue. But then what did they do? They drove to the rescue with the bird in the cage and then just gave them the bird and then took the cage and drove it all the way back to BAM and then threw the cage in the trash. Like that it doesn't make sense. And you have to have an appointment. So like when did they do this? And not all of them, some of them aren't at capacity right now. So that's why you have to call ahead. So basically you can't just like turn over a bird. Like you can't just randomly just go to your nearest animal rescue and be like, here's a bird, take it, goodbye. It's a process. And what really bothers me, and I actually do think I have a slide for this part. What really, really bothers me about this with Ammon saying like, oh, well, we took it to, we took it to a no-kill shelter, as if like that somehow makes it less diabolical what they did. Like the fact, why wouldn't they just give it, what would be a better than a no-kill shelter? Give it back to the owner, you morons, right? Why wouldn't they just give the bird to Chrystal? It would save them a lot of time and money. I'm sure she would have happily come and gotten her bird, except they threatened her with trespassing if she ever came back to the store. So what was she supposed to do? I think honestly, to me, this is the worst of all the things that they've done. This is the worst for me because now it's involving an innocent creature, a living, breathing, innocent animal. And Chrystal also, oh, by the way, let me just show you this. Let me go back to the video. Chrystal did comment, and I pinned it. She did comment on the video, and she said, thank you for covering Tattle. We'll be asking for confirmation from whichever shelter he was taken to in our discovery request for our lawsuit. So this is part of her lawsuit, and I think this is going to be big. Because I don't think that they're going to be able to prove it. And once you show that you're not like a credible, that was the right word. Like, well, I want to say credible witness, but like, if her case goes to trial, once they start proving that these guys are liars, the jury doesn't have to believe anything they say. So, and so I told her that I was pinning this. And then she also said something else. I don't know if I have it down here, but she basically said that, yeah, I mean, really, she is traumatized by all of this. And this is why in my opinion, she's the victim here. Screw BAM, because if anything, they would have just given it back to her. It makes no sense what they were doing. I mean, they hurt animals. That is all I need to know. Oh, that's the other part is that she said the bird has a clipped wing. So the fact that she has a clipped wing, if they just released it, let's say that they just released it, that would still be a death sentence for the bird. So yeah, they're impeachable. Exactly. Impeach their asses. Yes. I love you, Christina. You're awesome. You're amazing. She always knows what I'm trying to say when I can't find the words. The needle pig says highly probably illegal activity. JJ said on police footage that both he and BB were the franchise owners of Eugene. He's not listed as a Eugene franchise owner though. Well, that's just sketchy as F, right? So, and that's enough. Yeah. That is really sketchy because in the franchise agreement, they have to list every owner of every store. So if they don't list him as one of the owners, but he is operating as an owner, that seems like a big problem to me in so many ways. Ooh. These guys are so stupid. I can't even take it. I don't think I want to know what really happened to the poor bird. Either do I. I don't. But let me just keep going with the video really quick. Hold on. They all require an appointment. Oh yeah, here's the other thing. Brandon, because yes, the very last screenshot. So this was in the Coffeezilla video. And again, these all could be edited, but this was from Brandon Best. What he showed Coffeezilla was that this was the last screenshot or last picture he had in the store was that night at 9:44 p.m. And look, we see the bird cage in there. So it's just like, when did you drop the bird off at the rescue? Between that night, obviously nothing's open that night, so you did it the next day, that Friday. I don't buy it. And then I go more into about how it is a crime. You can't just release domesticated animals into the wild, especially birds, and that how it is a Class C misdemeanor punishable by up to $1,000 fine and or 30 days in jail. In fact, a person without providing for that animal's continued care. And it is a Class C misdemeanor punishable by up to $1,000 fine and or 30 days in jail. So I wonder, and that's best case scenario, that they just let this bird out. But that would still be a crime. And I wonder what Josh would have to say about that.
It's a Class A misdemeanor to impersonate a process server in the state of Utah.
So right
I
now,
want her arrested for impersonating the process server.
so right now,
So I think I want him arrested because I want him arrested. He wanted that person, the actual process server, arrested for this alleged misdemeanor. Well, you know what? I want him arrested for what he did to that bird because something's not making sense here. Something doesn't add up, but I think a lot of what they do doesn't add up. It's a misdemeanor. I want him arrested, says Mary. I know, me too. Oh, yeah, his feet. You guys, everything about this guy is disgusting. What's the bird's name? The bird's name is Tattle. That's the other thing. You know, it's just like this really is like some kind of saga. It's like, of course the bird's name is Tattle because he could tattle on these freaking morons. Just like, but you know, and some people said, someone else did say, they're like, okay, well, why didn't Chrystal just like leave the cage and take the bird and put it in a box and take it home? Well, several reasons. One, that she has other animals at home, so it wouldn't really be fair to the bird, you know, take it home with the other animals. And I honestly think when you see the video, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Like they literally were kicking her out of her own store. Her store was being hijacked. I think that she was having trouble actually processing what was going on. And I don't think she would have ever believed that there was people evil that were going to not let her come get her own freaking pet, you know? And she trusted that the employees that were going to be there were going to be able to take care of it. I mean, she had no idea that they were going to try to get rid of this bird the next day. So there's a lot going on here. And I would say to give her grace because her story adds up to me. Everything she said so far, and Reckless Ben has said the same thing. Everything Chrystal has said thus far, she's been able to provide receipts for. And again, she did not ask to be put in this position. This happened to her, you know, like, and it's one of these things that we've seen, you know, like with Baldoni and Wayfarer and like the Aaron Spencer case, like sometimes these things happen, you know, to people and they end up having to take on this role of like a superhero almost, you know, to fight back against some of the worst and expose what's really going on here. So, you know, kudos to her. Her and her partner have a legal fund and they're fighting back. And I hope she wins because I think what they did to her was terrible in every way. And one thing I did not put in this video about the bird, we heard from, I guess his name is Relic. He was a franchise owner in Florida who had the same thing happen to him pretty much, and then they left him with, like, BAM took over a store, you know, then didn't pay like a $500,000 lease, never put their name on the lease, left him on the lease, left him with that bill. In a miracle, the landlord basically told him, like, you know, cut him a deal, was just like, we'll clean up the mess they left and we'll call it a day. I mean, just like really crazy. But he said that Brandon Best told him that they took over Chrystal's store because she was a druggie. They always say it's heroin. Everything they say is heroin. Remember, they said Reckless Ben had heroin. It's always heroin. They said that it's because she was on heroin and it was a mess and that she was in debt. That's not why. She called BAM. She called BAM and said she wanted to start the process of, you know, changing over the store to someone else because she was leaving the country. That's the first thing. The second thing is Brandon said that the bird was disgusting and that it was crapping over all the Legos. And then Chrystal's like, well, that's not even true because he had a clipped wing. He couldn't even fly. So a lot going on there, right? Appears unless they can show the receipts, and I'm happy, I hope, with all the yeah, so basically my last, I was just like, those that are cruel to animals never stop there. And I think these guys are terrible, terrible people, in my opinion. And we're not even done yet, though, you guys. I have so much going on. I have stuff that I haven't even seen covered by anyone else, by the way. That's how many threads there are in this case. But yeah, that's why I'm just saying the level of like detached from reality these guys are, I think they're just used to always getting their way or something, because the fact that Ammon was saying that they, like, as if it was a good thing. Oh, well, we stole her bird and we gave it to a no-kill shelter. That's not, you still stole her bird, you assholes. Like, what? Like, they're still in the wrong. And I don't think that's what they did. I think they must have released it or worse, but I hope, I hope by some sort of miracle, maybe they did put outside and some like bird person found it and took it and rehabbed it and saved it. But we don't know. And unless they need to provide the receipts, because not one of these shelters just lets you kind of just drop the bird off. Like, so and by receipts, I don't just mean the donation receipt. I mean like paperwork, or give us the name of the shelter so we can verify something, where it was, location. Says, yeah, he knows nothing about anything, but knows exactly what happened to the bird. So you guys, the comment section is blowing up. Hold on. I'm going to get back here. I want to see what y'all are saying, because if this is like a crowdsourced saga, basically, and everyone that says something, I think you guys all have valuable input. Hey, first time here, says Spirit Warrior. Just showed up on feed as live, so I thought I would check it out. Say the Justice for Tattle you saw the Justice for Tattle the other day. First I had heard of that. I know, isn't that crazy? I think it needs more attention. I mean, I think it crosses a line, the fact that like maybe they did something that was not right with this bird. Hello, Pam. I hope the bird's okay. Me too. Gail says, Mary, go ahead and blame me as it causes and effect. Okay. Yes, Elsie, Tattle, heartbreak. But I think, again, I think that all of these people, this is going to be exposed. Wait until other people find out what happened to Tattle. I found one other person who was covering it today. I'm going to get to that next. Yes, Mary says, welcome to the best chat this side of the YouTube. Glad you joined us. Yeah, honestly, you guys, I always brag. I have the best chat. I might not be the biggest channel, but I swear I have the best chat. They do, but say if they lay away something that costs $500 and it goes up in value next month, the store lost out. I think they need to be audited. Audit all of these. Josh needs to be audited. Brandon Best needs to be audited. All their LLCs should be audited. Bricks and Minifigs as a whole company should be audited. Chrystal identifies the red pickup truck from the coffee YouTube video as JJ's pickup. Also, Tattle's cage seems to be in the pickup bed without Tattle. That's the heartbreaking part. This channel is tiny, but she's doing really great work. Everyone watching should like the Thank you. That means so much, Sam Tornado. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I get that, but they have to stick to the agreement at layaway. They should, but they didn't. Gelf says, I'm so confused by the American use of layaway. Over here, we can only use it rarely now as it's being phased out. But from what I understand, it's paying for items over time. Yeah, and I think that there's now apps where you can do it, where they take on that, like, the debt part of it, but I don't know. Thank you. I'm underrated. Oops. It's not my show. Oh, Jess Khaleesi, one of my moderators. DFJ is underrated. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Well, and then this says, so Josh and Best both live in Utah, but Best had to fly there, and Josh shows up the next day in his personal car. How does that make sense? It's a 12-hour drive from Utah to Salem. I was thinking that too. I'm like, why was Brandon there the day before and Josh's car shows up the next day? None of that makes sense to me. And allegedly, Brandon Best flew in around midnight, and then picked up the trailer in Eugene in a rental that they had to drive the trailer down to Salem because they were going to live in it during the hostile takeover of the Salem store, then drove the U-Haul. Instead of delivering it back to a Salem store, they drove it all the way back up to Eugene to drop it off. I mean, their story doesn't make any sense. Gail says, Mary, Chrystal was moving overseas. She probably couldn't take the bird, so made arrangements for the staff to keep caring for her in her home she's used to. And, well, I don't think so. That's not what she said. She said, like, they got rid of the bird before she even had a chance to take it. But eventually, yes, maybe She was planning on finding a home for her bird, but it's still her bird. Josh and Brandon had no right to take her bird. And why the hell does Ammon even know what happened with it? A lot of this doesn't make sense when you really get into it. It says 25 anomaly. That's why this case is so crazy. Sam, it was planned beforehand. There's a guy called Josh that got screwed over by bricks and minifigs. That explains it. Yeah, crazy. Sam says, in my honest opinion, it's obvious they just let the bird go outside or something. There's no way they actually took it to a shelter, in my opinion. I don't think so either. Because, especially with these jerks, like they would have been like, oh, we paid a whole like $100 for the fee, like the donation fee that's needed for its checkup. They would have like added something like that, and they didn't. Also, these losers that are putting their entire reputations on the line over some freaking Legos. Like these guys who wouldn't pay out the Legos, you think they're going to pay to get a bird into some sort of rescue? Nope, I don't think so. Nothing adds up. I do not buy it. Mary says, and here's the thing, if someone had the bird, either a shelter or if someone adopted the bird, we would have heard it publicly by now. Yeah, maybe. Khaleesi says, do most animal shelters accept exotic birds? No, most don't. And Salem is rare where they're a humane society. Some of the locations accept birds, but only you have to make an appointment, and there's like a bunch of guidelines, and they don't even, it's not even considered a donation. It's a fee, and they're very strict about it because, again, avian flu and all the different health issues that can come along with birds, and parakeets are very vulnerable when their environments change. And so a lot of care goes into rehoming a bird like this. And I can't wait until the TRO is lifted so Chrystal can possibly talk about it more if she can. I'm sure she probably can't even process it at this time. The fact that the McNeff father is now speaking out about this is what they did to him is interesting. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay. Yeah, what they did to the bird was a death sentence. Exactly. So, and then the needle pig says, we have wild invasive parakeet in my area now because they escaped from a sanctuary here. Now they wake me up every morning at 6 a.m. with their relentless screeching. Where was that? That's so crazy. Oh my God. I've never even heard of that. Pam says, I do too. What a shit. Get him, DFJ. Yeah, no, I will not hold back on what I feel about these jerks. So, okay, so I'm going to keep going. Big Black Dog says, BJC Live and others have been pulling all kinds of strings. Oh, I know. Yeah, I've been listening to some of her things like during the day when I have to like run around. I listened to the stream that she just did about the Airbnb, but someone else had brought that up to me before her about the Airbnb owners and their involvement with telling the police that they had the Lego guys staying with them, and then allegedly telling the police that they overheard their Airbnb guest talk about stolen Legos, and how hearsay of that ended first like spying on their guests, weird, and also then that hearsay somehow ended up as in a search warrant for Legos, but nowhere is anyone actually saying that their Legos were stolen. I mean, guys, this case is crazy. Sam says, I used to live in this part of Oregon. It's really low income. Chrystal is just a really good person accepting all these layaways to let people who don't have enough money buy these rare pieces. Yes, exactly. And and you can tell like her and her partner, they actually love the Legos. They really care about the whole like Lego. They know everything about it. They know about the different sets. It's part of they didn't just get into it. Let's just say they didn't get into this for the money. It doesn't look like the margins are that large. She said that they were doing okay, she said, but she had to work like 70 hours a week. So BAM may be part of a massive nationwide criminal network of scammers. Y'all, it is insane. Okay, do you want me to show you one of those maps? Let me see. Who's the best place that has one of the LLC maps? I know we saw it on the, let me see if I can pull one up because someone posted a screenshot of one, I think it was in the Reddit, one of the Reddit threads or something from her, but it is insane. And I wasn't getting too deep into that. I have a lot more. You guys, we're talking about the marketing person next because wait until you see what I pulled up on their PR person. But, Yeah, I'm looking. If you guys know the exact link, you can tell the mods because they'll post. Oh, I found it. Okay. Oh, it's not that clear. Someone took this on their computer. Well, this is not the best one. This is definitely not the best. But like this is what yeah, BJ Investigates has been doing. Like with all these are all the LLCs and like how they're connected. It just yeah, I mean, the Vail Corporate LLC, Legally Mine, and then how like even what was it? Was it Legally Mine that they got in trouble last year for illegally pretending to be a lawyer or something? I mean, it's just it's wild stuff, you guys. Crazy stuff. Rachel Linder says, I think everyone involved with Tattle will just say, I thought someone else took care of it when they can't prove it. Well, here's the thing. I mean, you have Brandon, you have JJ, sorry. Yeah, BB and JJ you have at the store, and Josh is throwing the cage away with other trash. So, I mean, what are they going to say at that point? He's the last one with the bird's cage. So he has a lot of explaining to do. And then now Ammon is going to have a lot of explaining to do. Who told him that story about the no-kill shelter? Because someone's lying. It's clear someone's lying, right? Allegedly. Sam, that should be applauded because it's hard to buy stuff sometimes. I also live just under the legal definition of poverty line, and for some big ticket items I can't buy. Yeah. Lylith says, so happy to see someone actually dealing with Tattle justice for Tattle. And I feel bad because I'm like a super small channel. And so when I first made the video, like it wasn't really getting a lot of views. And then someone else did cover it. And so shout out to them. And I think I have it on here. Yes, I said, love the Tattle coverage. And then I said, is it weird he didn't tag me or link in the description though? Because like, and maybe it's just me, but like when you look at any of my videos, and I always joke, if you look in the description of any video I post, it looks like a Wikipedia page with how many I like tag, and every link I talk about, every court document we pull up, I link it. If I use someone else's channel or X post, I link it. And this guy, I mean, shout out to him for even talking about Tattle. Okay. And I'm very appreciative that he used my video. I do appreciate that. But I'm just like, why wouldn't you at least just put in the description, like tag me? Because he doesn't even say, he says he won't say my name because it's like, don't F with justice. So he's like, their name, if you want to see the video, is DFJ. I can't say their name. And that was it. It wasn't even like, oh, here's the @ It was nothing. But everyone does things different. But, you know, it's just one of those things where they're bigger than me. And then.
Okay, so we have a very, very big news day today. And kicked out, she thought she was leaving the bird in good hands. She has other employees there. She has other people who, if there was something that happened with the bird, then she would hear about it from these other employees. What she assumed.
I don't know what happened to the bird. I know what he has. We're going to circle back to the bird. I thought I was leaving the bird in safe hands. I knew that I had staff members there that would take care of the bird. I hoped that they would reach out to me if anything happened with the bird.
So everything going forward are just allegations, so take them with a grain of salt. But there are a lot of questions raised about this that I want to make known. Well, the next day, she has security cam footage of Josh Johnson's family. But it is a very serious issue, in my opinion, that should be talked about, and that is Tattle the bird. So Tattle is a bird that lived in.
Yeah, he doesn't say my video.
In the original store that came in and got taken over by Brandon Best and Josh Johnson. This is Chrystal's bird, the original store owner. She owned the bird. However, when she was kicked out, she thought she was leaving the bird in good.
Where does he say it?
Alleging that the bird was taken to a no-kill shelter.
However, the bird was, taken to
through a bird cage. Now, I'm using this video as reference because I kind of spell it out pretty well. If you guys want to go check it out, it's by DFJ. I can't share the name just because of monetization reasons. Most rescues.
Yeah, that was it. So it was just like, it was by DFJ, which fine, whatever. I mean, it's not the first time, it's not the last time, but I'm glad the information's getting out. But I'm like, yo, it's not that hard. I do it all the time. I already even linked this video in my description. I linked his video in my description. So whatever. His name is CB2. And if you want to see his full video, I linked it in the description. See how easy that is? So that's my only question or feedback to him. It's just like, dude, yeah, say my name. What's the problem? But whatever. It at least is for Tattle. It's for a good cause. But I do appreciate that a bigger channel picked it up because I think this needs to be a bigger part of the story. And then someone else in Reddit, shout out to Tevitan Lines. Sorry, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Tevitan Lines. They basically said that they remember seeing on a review of the store back in October, and they found it, and this is a screenshot, when they started to get, I guess, some bad reviews after what happened with Brian, and they said, new owners, new vibe, gone are the days of the Shirley Bird Lady. This was by Amanda. Wasn't the person who worked there named Amanda the one who threatened to like call the police or whatever on them? But yes, they called her the bird lady. So just like they like obviously had this like negative, just this negative feelings about the birds, and it was just so rude. Okay, so I said, hey, Lego laundering liars, where is the bird? And so, but those that don't get the reference, and Blake Lively, they laundered evidence. We called it evidence laundering with sham subpoenas. So that's why I'm using that term. And it was the tilted lawyer who I first heard that term from in that case. But I'm using Lego laundering to talk about these liars, that talk about Josh and Brandon and Ammon and everyone at corporate of BAM. And no one got the joke, but that's the reference. And then this was my second joke that no one got. I'm just like, show the receipts, BAM. And see, you know how he showed up with a U-Haul? So I said, I ain't no U-Hauler back girl. Like, no one got the joke. I ain't no hauler back girl. Get it? Anyways, that was that, because now I'm calling them the hauler back girls. And maybe it's just a stupid dad joke or something. I think it's funny. It's just me. Okay, so speaking of the U-Haul, though, just one more thing. So this I already did a video on this. I did a follow-up. This is like my third time following up the follow-up. So people keep reaching out to me saying this part of the receipt, remember this was the U-Haul receipt that we found that says that if you return after hours, if you return after store hours, please verify your equipment return on your mobile device using the U-Haul app, or you can choose to have a U-Haul representative verify it for you the next business day. There's a $20 convenience fee for this option. And so everyone's saying, like if you use the app, the time that is on the drop-off is the time from the app. And I was just saying, in my opinion, I didn't think it even mattered. To me, the mileage is what mattered. It just because, and the drop-off, the pickup and drop-off location of this Eugene U-Haul matters, in my opinion, because it shows that, like, why the hell, if you're dragging a trailer, which was their excuse for why they had to get this U-Haul in Eugene, and it showed up the Salem store, they said they had to drag this trailer all the way to Salem. Why wouldn't you just drop the U-Haul off then at a Salem U-Haul? Why did you take it over 70 plus miles, over an hour back to the store, back to the Eugene store to drop it off? That doesn't really make sense. It makes more sense if you're showing up to a store you're about to take over with a U-Haul, you're probably loading up the U-Haul, and they probably dropped this off at the Eugene store because guess what? They have another store in Eugene. That's where they could take all this inventory to. That's just allegedly, but that story makes a far more sense than me. But everyone's saying because this is what Brandon Best showed to Coffeezilla. He said that he dropped off the U-Haul at 12:41 a.m. That's his story, and he's sticking to it. But here the app, because we pulled up the receipt, the app said that he dropped off at 6:12. And so I was some people told me that, well, if you drop it off after hours, it's whatever time is checked in by the staff. But other people have told me, they're like, no, if they didn't get the $20 charge and he turned it in with the app, the time that is reflected in the receipt is the time from the app. Did he turn it in at 12? Did he turn it in at 6? I don't know. If he turned it in at 6, that means he's lying to Coffeezilla. He must have edited that timestamp and said he turned the U-Haul in at 12. And then if that's the case, why, right? Why is he lying? Why are these guys so effing sketchy? I don't get it. It's crazy. Yeah, so I can't believe we're still talking about the U-Haul. Okay. We're going to get into Jay Mitton. But I want to put it back on this really quick because I just want to go through your comments really quick because I do think that your input is extremely valuable and I don't want to get ahead of myself. If I missed any questions, I'm sorry. Last Relic is the handle. Oh yeah, for the store, for the guy from the Florida store. In my opinion, Josh looks like he's on heroin, says Mary. I agree with you. Gail says they also bought up Crystal's past shoplifting charge she had at 19, and she stole stuff for her baby when she was pregnant. I know, that was ridiculous. And so, but shame on them, right? Because it's like, all right, that's the worst you can find on her, was that when she, like, over 20 years ago, when she was 19 and pregnant, she stole something. That's the worst you can find on her? Because we found a lot more stuff on y'all, So I'm just saying. Eric Higa says they took over Chrystal's store when they did because they didn't want her to benefit from Black Friday Christmas sales. Oh Oh my gosh. That's the first I've heard that. Good call, Eric, with the timing, because it was, yeah, 11:14. That's the first I've heard that. I love your guys' brains. You guys are so smart on my Friday. It's all over the news there in Australia, Gal? That's so funny. Yes, would you like to treat DFJ to a coffee or help with the Aussie fund? Yes, and speaking of Aussie, do you guys want a quick Aussie break? Should we check in on him? Is he in the catio? Oh, he's not there. If he goes out there, I'll put it on there. I need to get a quick sip of water really quickly. So I was going to play an Aussie thing for you guys, but you know what? I'll just mute for 1 second. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so basically, yes, I have cats and I'm allergic to cats. You know, what else is new? But that's what happens when you're an animal lover, you know? And that's why this Tattle part of the story, to me, this like bricks and minifigs, like instead of like we steal from old people, I want to be like, we steal people's pets. I mean, I don't know. We need to come up with another slogan. What do you all think? When aren't, you know what is actually, you know how Ben, Reckless Ben is the franchise owner, quote, franchise owner of WeStealFromOldPeople.com. Do you think I should come up with like WeStealPeoplesPets.com? But we can't prove it yet, so I can't say that yet. But I do believe it. We allegedly steal peoplespets.com. Why aren't the Normans getting their people in check? I know the one guy got kicked off the High Council. Who are the Normans? Oh, why aren't there Mormons? Yes, I thought you said the Normans. Okay. Why aren't the Mormons getting their people in check? I know the one guy got kicked off. Yeah, so Josh Johnson, the one that with the bare feet, the gross guy, he did get kicked off. He got like whatever the high title had he was removed. Is vague here. She knows all of the right terms for that stuff. Eric, that would make a lot of sense too. Yeah. The Needle Pig says, for the curious, the last relic had a Florida BAM store, essentially had it stolen from him and was left with $500K rent bill when BBJJ closed it. Yes, the same Eugene BBJJ. Yeah, they're like known everywhere. 25 anonymously says, I will try to think the best for the bird in spite of their ridiculous behavior. I'm trying to think that too, because there are a lot of like, you know, I don't know. I just hope if they do have like avian rescues in that area, it just makes me think like I am praying that someone who works at one of these rescues like lives near that store and maybe happen to like get Tattle. You know, that's the only thing I feel like that could make sense. And that could be like a saving grace, like maybe Tattle's still around. This can't make them happy with people talking about them so negatively. I would think they would put some pressure on them. Yeah, what Legos? I don't know why Legos is taking the position they're taking. Hold on 1 second. I hear Ozzy. He's crying. I can hear him. He'll come in here in a second. Okay, so then we have Jungle Vet Jill said he should be charged with animal cruelty. I think so too. I don't think he will because it's been so long and we can't prove it. And in my experience, like from when I worked at a shelter and I worked at the SPCA for a while, and from what I've seen, in my experience, is most of the time, most municipalities will not prosecute animal cruelty unless you have like really strong evidence of it. So either someone has something on camera, or if the owner can, you know, have somehow prove what happened. They did steal her animal. I think there should at least be some sort of charge. But thank God she's using it in her discovery. I mean, thank goodness she will get discovery, and they're gonna have to show something for what happened to this animal. And now they are bound by what Ammon said, and so they're gonna have to prove. He said they took it to a no-kill shelter. Well, show us where that was. I'll be waiting, and we'll see what happens. Christina, you're so cute. Okay, so Mark says, I'm surprised that BAM hasn't accused the bird for the Lego theft. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised because they did accuse the bird of allegedly like crapping on Legos, and Chrystal's like, well, he had a clipped wing and he couldn't fly, so that's not even possible. That's not true. So they already showed a disdain for the bird. I would get an affidavit from Relic, you know, because he's the one who said that Brandon Best told him that story. I would get that, and I would get the one from the Amanda. I would take that, whatever Amanda said on that Google, what is that called? Google reviews, Google Map reviews or whatever, because this all shows that they already had a strong disdain for him. Okay, so we're just going to keep going. I saw that one. Is the Airbnb more Mormons? I don't know. They're probably. Jungle Vet Jill said, there are several wild groups of parrots in Florida. Budgies can live until it gets cold. Well, I hope so. I hope the bird was okay. The Black Dog says, we have flocks of Quaker parrots all over the New Orleans area. Really? I have to look that up. That's crazy. Hello there, Sunshine, says, justice for Tattle. Yes, justice for Tattle. Khaleesi says, don't fuck with the animals. Yes, please don't. And, okay, so we're going to keep going. Says DFJ, sorry. Hey, DFJ. Hey, Michelle's. And chat will be listening while driving home. Hugs to you all. So we're just going to keep getting into this because I have a lot more. There's a lot more where this came from. So we're going to keep going. So U-Haul. Okay, yes. So I know almost everyone saw this. This was Dan McNeff. This is the father of Eamon, and is it Matthew McNeff? And he basically posted saying today's version of a lynch mob could very well be YouTube investigators. At 1.6 years ago, I was the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs. My sons illegally removed me from that position and sued me for control of another company I founded. I have not had anything to do with Bricks and Minifigs since then. Regardless of this, in the last 10 days, I have been given multiple death threats. And 2 days ago, we saw people viewing our home from the hill behind our home with binoculars, and they shot out a big picture window that will cost thousands to replace. I want to see this. It's always it's in my experience, everyone who says they get death threats, but they don't post a proof of that death threat is lying about death threats. They're just saying it to it's almost like a histrionic type thing. Every one of those Bricks and Minifig stores are independently owned. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. No one stops to investigate truly. They make a lot of assumptions and hurt innocent people. Every one of those Bricks and Minifig stores are independently owned and operated, and they don't deserve to be hurt. Are they really all independently owned and operated? Because Josh Johnson said that him and Brandon work for corporate, but they own some of the stores. So are they all independently owned and operated? And if Bricks and Minifigs is now saying that they parted ways with Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson, does that mean they parted ways with them at working for corporate, or parted ways with them? Are they still franchise owners? I have a lot of questions there. Many of the people pushing this whole story have their own Lego stores and want to hurt their competition. Oh, that's who it is. Yeah, that's all of us covering this case. We own our own Lego stores, and we want to hurt people. That's why we're covering this case. I didn't even know anything about Legos. And I have a disclaimer from the very first day I covered this case that the furthest of my experience with Legos is I stepped on one. I would step on them when my brothers would leave them out on the floor, and I just have bad memories in them. I'm like, clean up your crap. That's all I remember of Legos. So I have no experience. I do not even own there's not one Legos in my house. I do not own them. I didn't even know what Bricks and Minifigs was. I didn't know what BAM was. I didn't know any of this until my mod, Christina, brought it to my attention. So I give her all the credit for putting me down this rabbit hole, and that's the only reason I'm covering it. So my question is, who watches the watchers? Will Reckless Ben investigate all the innocent people he has hurt and do what he can to help them? I haven't seen him hurt anyone innocent. I don't know about you guys. I think he got hurt. He was swatted. I saw something funny though. I think it was BJ Investigates who said how when she was talking about this, she's like, oh, someone was looking at you with binoculars. She's like, maybe they were just bird watching. And oh, damn it. I meant to clip that part. Because I was going to clip it to be like, yeah, maybe they were bird watching, trying to find the freaking Tattle. I don't know. But Dan McNeff has a lot of explaining to do because he worked with this guy, Jay Mitton. And go check out the other channels covering the LLCs because I'm not doing the deep dives on the LLCs. I feel like it takes a village to cover this case, and I am covering different parts of the case so that they don't all get covered too much. But someone posted something on Reddit, and I don't know if you guys saw it because it was deleted, and I felt so bad. I wish I had gotten their name. They did this whole breakdown. There was this part of the church, of the Mormon church in I think this was in Utah, somewhere in Utah, where they were operating as a Church of Satan or something. But there was a whole federal investigation. And I'm telling you, like, these witness statements were like hundreds of pages long. They were really disturbing stuff. But Jay Mitton was mentioned in some of them. And as one of the people who would get the quote blessings, and where they made all these like victims, do terrible things. And it's a very disturbing case. And I can't even post the screenshots I took because it has so many no words for YouTube. And I'm not really entirely sure why it was taken down from Reddit, because this person was citing sources with everything they said. It's not like they just made this wild thing up. Like, this was and I didn't even get to finish reading it because I fell asleep reading it, and the next day it was freaking gone. So, but one of the comments was so funny. I mean, not funny, but kind of funny. Well, two of them, because one of them was basically saying, they quote an article from around the same time of when all these things were going on, where it says Jay Mitton can be seen often with his protege by his side, Dan McNeff. And I'm just like, you took over this guy's business. You worked with this man for a long time, who has had all these allegations against him, not just of financially, but like Church of Satan, let's just say that, everything that was happening at his house. If I find that's the only thing not linked, because they took down that Reddit thread. So I'm going to have to try to find that court case on my own. And if I do, I will link it. I'm going to timestamp, reminder, DFJ, timestamp this part for the replay crew or people who want to come back and see. But one of the comments actually threw me for a loop. It was so funny. It was this one. They're like, check out about the Uhaul, about the cult Uhaul with the polygamist. Do you guys remember? This is not connected to anything. This was just a funny to tie in Uhaul and crime and the whole like corrupt part of the Mormon church. But do you guys remember that polygamist, the cult prophet who was caught towing underage girls in a freaking U-Haul trailer? I'm just like, what the hell is going on? And that's why I said U-Haul and Lego laundering and trafficking. If you guys don't remember this case, oh, this is not going to let me move this. Hold on. I have it in my YouTube. But before I do that, let me just check in with you guys, because I might have lost everyone. I did lose a bunch of people. Sorry. I was going on and on. Pam, it should be there. Okay. Spirit Warrior says, I think we were seeing from BAM, American Fork PD, is standard operating procedures. This is the first someone did not fold when they threatened them, so they don't know how to respond. This crazy things we're seeing, right? Totally crazy. So, yeah, just crazy. A no-kill bird shelter at midnight. Nope, not buying it. Where's the bird? Yeah, or it could have been the next day. I mean, maybe they did take it somewhere the next day, but it doesn't make sense why they have the cage. Rachel says the BBC network has also picked up coverage. Oh, that's awesome. Somebody can absolutely prove it. There are only a few shelters that take birds, and they all take pictures of the animals. Which shelter? Yeah, they just need to tell us. Yeah, just tell us. Oh, I just skipped over Khaleesi. Sorry, I didn't. Yes, can we hire John Wick? Well, that's why in my my diss track song, which we're gonna go out with, I call him John Brick, because he goes John Wick, and that was before I knew. Well, no, I knew about the bird then, but yeah, he's going John Wick, John Brick on BAM. For legal reasons, do not contact anyone in the story. Yes, do not contact anyone in the story. I agree 1000%, because, and that was the thing with those allegations from Dan and that stupid ass post he made. Because I'm just like, show us. It's always the people who cry wolf. They're like, oh, we're getting so many death threats. It's like, show me. Because if they were, he would have posted it. Show me the police report. I want to see the police report of your death threat. I don't believe it. When I have crazy people come for me, I post that. I post exactly what my trolls say, and I call them out. Carla Park said, for all those attending the protest tomorrow, stay safe. I'll be watching. What time is that protest? Is that Eagle Dogs guy? Can you, Carla Parks, if you're still here, will you let me know the date and time? Because I'll make sure to post it. Because if anyone is in that area who wants to go to the protest, I'll make sure they get the information. Apparently, there was a multi-state Lego theft ring busted in Arlington. I heard about that. The fact that people are stealing Legos, I don't understand what's going on. There's a ton of Star Wars stuff in the collection. In his collection or in the one that was stolen? The LDS Church uses KJV Bible, which is totally ironic because Joseph Smith made his own translation of the Bible. That's crazy. Golly says, I'm curious where Brandon got all of his money. His house is huge, especially compared to Josh's. Well, you know, I did look up his LinkedIn. I was going to put the LinkedIns for a different day. But even his LinkedIn photo is sketchy. Everything that guy does is sketchy. So I don't know. I am just unloading at my lake place. Well, good to see you. And I'm glad you're still hanging out, Lori. Big Black Dog says, AFPD has a pattern and practice of redacting body cam. See Lackluster. He has 3 other victims from earlier up already. Another video on the way. Okay, so I haven't seen... I had one pulled up in my watch list and I just never got to it, where a guy was pulled over and they had to apologize to him. And so I wanted to watch because the full video, apparently, I don't know if it was redacted or not, but once I watch it, I'll circle back to that. But yeah, they pulled him over in like they thought it was like a, what is it called, lane? You know, the lane where you can have a lot of people in it or something. And it wasn't like yeah. He seems much more level-headed than JJ, so he's probably more successful. The reason JJ gets 10 times the coverage BB does. Well, I don't know. He seems sketchy, though. Okay, so Rachel says, Dan took down his Facebook post the next morning. He took it down? Oh, my God. These guys are so stupid. In the multi-state one, I sent Christina the link so she can drop it off. Oh, I saw that one, though. I did read that. Rachel, so back to that Dan post, though, just since we're on that page. So he took it down, which is interesting because if they want to say that people, you know, are now, because by the way, Reckless Ben never talked about any of this. They didn't talk about all the LLCs. They didn't talk about the brothers suing the dad. All of this came out after they put a temporary restraining order and basically gagged Reckless Ben, so we can't talk about it. And everyone's like, yep, we gotcha. We got it. And you put it on a few people's radars. And I'm just telling you again, I don't know what the connection is with Legos and like, you know, these brilliant minds, but you guys, there's so many brilliant minds covering this case. And the research you guys do is insane. It's crazy. And like, there's so many sites up already, bamsucks.com, the salembricktrials.com. I mean, all of y'all are, and now the BAM's maps, which I can't totally, I need to vet it first before I recommend that one too much. Dang, I was like a full minute behind, just caught up. But we're glad you're caught up, Christina, because you keep me in check. Rachel says, I have been all over this. My hyperfixation is fully engaged. I know. I need to disengage, really. I need to, because there's too much. Okay, should we just go to the next one already? But yeah, whatever that missing Reddit post was, if there's something there or not, I don't know. But you guys, I wasn't even done reading. There were so many pages. I wanted to know what happened with that lawsuit with the Church of Satan, because I hope there are people in jail over that from what I read. So yeah, DFJ timestamp this, get the court docs if you can find them and see what was the ultimate result. Okay, the Needle Pig says, there's no doubt BB is sketchy, but BB is much more down low about it. JJ is wild, unpredictable, importantly angry. It makes people look at him and let BB skate by comparatively unnoticed. I don't know. He showed up to the store in a freaking U-Haul that he's taking over. That's sketchy as hell. And yeah. Okay, it says, oh, on the McNeffs, this is JJ. Audiogon says, on the McNeffs have $130,000 IRS judgment. Oh yes, they had that judgment because right, they took the brothers. Wasn't the brothers like pay stub stipend because they evaded taxes or something for a long time? I don't know. Ammon has the IRS judgment. It was $180K. I mean, and it just so happens that they stole $2,000 worth of Legos. I mean, motive. I'm just saying. 25 anonymously. Are you getting into the Church of Satan thing to see if there's anything there? Yeah, I want to, but I didn't even get to finish reading. I mean, the one where Jay Mitton was mentioned, it was he was mentioned, his sister was mentioned, his wife was mentioned. They gave like harp lessons at her house or something. I don't know. But from what I read in there, that was like 70 pages. So I didn't even get to finish like actually looking into the lawsuit. And then I fell asleep. It's just like, that's kind of crazy stuff to fall asleep to. And then I wake up the next morning because I was like, I need to figure out what these cases are so I can follow up. And the freaking Reddit post got deleted. I don't know what that's about, but I do want to know what ultimately happened with that. Because people should be in jail over that from what I read. Definitely should be in jail. So, okay. And if you don't know this case, I was just going to show you really quick. Well, it might be too many things to show. Let me go in here. Maybe I could do it from this way. If you don't remember it, I just want to show you the part where they all walk out of the U-Haul. Yeah, here.
Sticking out the top of the trailer earlier. Let's see him.
How many other people are in the truck?
Any information I give can and will be held against me.
How old are you? 11? How old are you?
And this guy is in prison right now for what he did. But this was on the border. This guy was on the border of Utah and I want to say Arizona or something when this happened. And I think they were caught in Arizona. But anyways, I mean, I'm not saying this has anything to do with anything. I'm just saying, why is everyone smuggling things in freaking U-Hauls? Why is it happens to be like people who are Mormon are smuggling things in U-Hauls? I don't know. I'm just saying. Anyways, that was just a weird it was just an interesting comment that someone left. Okay, okay. This is, I think we are on, yeah, we only have a few slides left. So I want to end on though, because I was fixated on this from the beginning about this person. This is the PR person for Bricks and Minifigs, Caitlin F. Okay. And she got on my radar because of that comment. Let's go back to it really quick. This comment where someone said, why promise to make Brian Mansell whole monetarily, then take down his GoFundMe? You can't claim accountability while cutting off the people supporting him. That is not resolution, it's retaliation. And then someone in Reddit had posted this, and then she said, we didn't take it down and it is back up, but did you know the owner of a GoFundMe can remove it? Do you know who the owner of the owner is? Well, no, ma'am. That she's being dishonest here. And then it looks like she went and she deleted this comment. So shout out to whoever got that screenshot. But she, because he had to take it down because of the TRO. So it was taken down because of Bricks and Minifigs. So this person, she went to BYU. See, there's a lot of connections with this BYU thing there. And remember, she was the one who said, this is on her experience page on her LinkedIn. This is their PR person right now. In 2026, I was appointed incident commander during a national reputational crisis, coordinating executive leadership, legal counsel, franchise relations, public relations, customer communications, and digital reputation management efforts across the organization. Which organization? It's as head of marketing for Bricks and Minifigs. So, and I said, you mean they picked their scapegoat and will blame you when this blows up in their face? I don't think she sees that part yet. Oops, I'm sorry. But here, there's a few things I had. So basically, yes, there's a few. Oh my God. I don't even know where to start with this. Hold on. I need another sip of water. I almost think I need a drink at this point. Have you guys looked into this? This woman is nuts. Hold on one second. Okay. Sam says, I'm listening to this while fixing my girlfriend's washing machine. This is like the best live stream for me to listen to while working. Well, good luck with that. I thank you for fixing it. I hope that it's not too difficult. All these LLCs and ink changes go way deeper than Bricks and Minifigs. I'll bet in the grand scheme they have. Yes, JJ, and they do. They go super, super crazy. Okay, fine. What is that site called? BAM Maps. Is it bammaps.com? That's not it. BAM. What is the site? What is the BAM map site? I'll pull it up. You guys tell me what it's actually called. I'll pull it up. Because for some reason, is it BAM? It's still not like coming up in the algorithm for me. Oh, here. Wait, I found it. Oh, it's the BAM map. Okay. So let's go to thebammap.com. And let's go, because I want to show you guys this one. Yeah. So this is what the site has for the BAM map. Like, I mean, you guys, are we like in, what is it called? Philadelphia. It's Never Sunny in Philadelphia. Is that like this? I feel like we have the crazy board now going, but this is where we are. We're here. So yeah, you have BAM, and you can click on any of these. You have Ammon, like you click on this one, and it shows like all of these things. Oops. It's crazy, really. The connection. There's another one too. That's not the only one. I want to say that because I saw 2 connection maps when I looked at this originally. But then you have Daniel McNeff, like the dad, the legally mine. You can get into all of these here, the dentistry thing, the lawsuits, the tax and the accounting. I mean, this, at the end of the day, you guys, really, this is really insane looking to me. Actually, can I screenshot this since it's AI, right? Isn't this AI who made this? Oh, I can move it. Okay, that's cool. Well, this is a pretty cool feature. I'm going to screenshot this. I think this is like this is a little crazy, but yeah, you guys can look at this. I'm not getting deep into that. There's other people covering it. Let me go back. I want to talk about the crazy person I want to talk to. Oh my God, Khaleesi, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Says love you, DFJ. Have a great weekend, chat fam. Are you leaving? Will you have a great weekend too? Just Khaleesi, thank you for being here. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I do spend a lot of money on the StreamYard, and also I just bought that music license for the song for the stream I did with Karol that I got the copyright for. So yeah. So we're gonna keep going though. Who's leaving? Oh, it's just our. Okay, we're not done. We still have one more thing. I'm almost done, but I just wanted to tell you about this person, this Caitlin F. So she before this. So here's some of the comments that kind of, when I looked at her LinkedIn, that I had a little red flag about. So like, for example, this was like only a few days ago. Someone said, it's better to ask forgiveness rather than permission, right? What's the worst that could happen? And she comments and says, depends on if there is a legal case at stake. And then she puts her like the little like emoji covering an eye. I have a bias towards action though, and I've had to apologize at time for it. Sucks, but that is the risk with this approach. And I'm like, ma'am, I think you guys I think you guys are at the point where you need to ask for forgiveness now. Like you all are all of this $200,000 worth of Legos. Like that's the high rate, right? They are destroying their entire reputations, their brands. It's exposing all of these LLCs. Like, should we just go back to this? All of this is exposed now. All of the lawsuits, all these connections that they sued their families, their associates, all of these people, everything is coming out because they would not pay for these stupid Legos. And because they would not apologize, maybe they should have just apologized, right? But okay, let's just keep going with this woman's theories. So she says, I have a bias towards action. That what action is left for BAM to take besides giving the Legos back, writing a check, and saying sorry, and that we're going to make changes going forward. That's the only action they should be taking right now. But instead, they've doubled down on the lawsuit. They've tried to gag the victim. They are, I mean, this woman, I'm so glad that she is their marketing person, their PR manager, because she's terrible. So here's what she posted 8 months ago, though. Have you guys seen this yet? This is crazy. So 8 months ago, she posted this about the company she's working at. She says, I joined Bricks and Minifigs fully aware that I was walking into a bit of a mess. This is what she's saying about the company. This was before we knew about this. Was 8 months ago. She admits that they were a mess. This is crazy. Team morale was low. Roles were muddy. Trust internally and externally needed to be rebuilt. So instead of rushing into flashy marketing campaigns, I focused my first 2 weeks on fundamentals. So I hope that for the RICO case especially, but I hope that all the parties involved see that she said this. She's admitting that the roles were muddy. This was 8 months ago, that they were a mess, that trust internally and externally needed to be rebuilt. This is before any of this. like went viral. Like, this is crazy that she's admitting all of this, that basically saying the company was an effing disaster, but like I came in and saved it. I'm so glad all these egos are like having to come up, are like on the BAM side, because they just like, they don't know how to shut up. So she says, 1, right seats, right people. I held one-on-ones with every team member, including 1099s, to understand strengths, goals, and frustrations. One role was eliminated due to hiring an agency to fulfill that need, and soon a new senior role or 2 will bridge team gaps. Everyone is getting a clear job description and will align on KPIs and success metrics as a team this next week. So I'd be very curious to know what this was about. And she spoke with everyone. I would do an immediate preservation order for all of her records, and I would want to know who are the team members, because if she did one-on-ones with Josh Johnson and Brandon Best, whoa, I'm just saying, I have some questions. I want to know everything that was talked about. Communication. I moved my office next to my team, taking an open door approach. We set up weekly one-on-ones and L10 meetings. I'm also establishing a marketing advisory committee to build trust and transparency across the franchise system. Well, it looks like it failed, because you lose trust with the franchises when you hostily take over a store, steal their stuff, and steal their freaking pets, ma'am. There's no coming back. At this rate, like, she's working for people that might have led to the death of an animal. So there's a lot more she has to do here. Removing barriers. Sometimes good leadership comes from quick, simple wins, like paying for an Adobe Suite subscription or photography equipment so your team can actually do their jobs. You know what else they could probably pay for? Pay for the inventory on layaways of people that from consignment. Maybe you should have paid for the old man's Legos. Okay. All right. She says that it's a big win when you pay for the Adobe Suite subscription. Okay, ma'am. Cleaning up loose ends from unfulfilled giveaways. That's interesting. I want to know more about that. To cold convention leads, I'm closing gaps left behind. I want to know about these, quote, unfulfilled giveaways, right? This is coming from the marketing manager talking about bricks and minifigs being a mess 8 months ago. This is crazy stuff, you guys. So, and then I read this so you guys don't have to. Let me tell you, I felt like I hurt my brain reading this. So this person, right, Caitlin Fagan or whatever the hell her name is, she used to have this like blog called What's Up Fagans, and she just goes on and talking. She talked about how she married the best man. He's such a good man, and they went to they have like 7 kids. I think it was 7, maybe more. Wait, how many are in this picture? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, they had 7. I'm pretty sure they were up to 7 in the latest I read on her. She doesn't keep up with the blog anymore, but she also was trying to like hawk like items, sell items, use like, what are they called? Ambassador links or something. Anyways, but she says how she married the most honest man, and she knew he was the best man because they went to a movie once and the person in front of them stole the candy without paying for it, and he insisted on paying for it because that was the right thing to do. Well, ma'am, I wonder what your amazingly morally right husband has to say about this, because I found some posts from him too. He is a math professor, I want to say, in Utah. And I saw from 2 years ago, he said academic freedom and freedom of speech are intrinsically linked and should be protected at all costs, even if it means protecting the voices of those you disagree with. Well, that's funny, because your wife, Joshua Fagan, your wife's company put a TRO order and gag order on someone who was using their freedom of speech and exposing what they felt happened. And now they've been gagged. Their First Amendment, they basically, their First Amendment rights have been taken away over this freaking case because her idiot clients wouldn't just pay the damn person for their Legos. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. So, and they made them take down all of his videos. They made them take down the GoFundMe. I mean, so this person who's doing the marketing for minifigs is saying freedom of speech, or is like working for a company that basically just made everyone shut up. But her husband is all about, freedom of speech is so important, even if it means protecting the voices of those you disagree with. And I agree with her husband. I don't agree with what she's doing, though. I don't know how she's having the two things add up in her mind. But anyways, and there's more. I'm sure you could dig into with this person. She actually is so annoying in my opinion. But I just found that, like, she's the one doing the marketing and PR. She's apparently leading this. What did they call it? She was the incident commander for their crisis. And the one thing, instead of paying her, I don't know how much they're paying her, but what I would do is just tell them, what's the best campaign thing to do right now? Pay for the freaking Legos. Stop paying for these lawyers. Pay for the Legos. Maybe donate to some rescues for for bird rescues, since it looks like maybe Josh Johnson and Brandon Best did something bad to this bird, and then put out a statement saying, like, you guys effed up and you all are going to get some help and you're going to, from here on out, try to do the right thing. But I don't think that they'll ever do that. She doesn't apologize. Remember, she takes action is what she said. So they have the blind leading the blind, the stupid leading the stupid. And we're going to get into something funny next. We're almost done. How are y'all doing? Are you hanging in there? Thank you again for the super chat, Khaleesi. I really, really appreciate it. Rachel said Josh Johnson was doing presentations as a partner for Fortune Law, I believe, like not quite 3 months ago. They lie. I feel like they're like compulsive liars. Like they all are. And I think they're just used to people believing them, right? I mean, because he does it. They do it like without even thinking. They just lie. In my opinion, that's just what it seems like. The Needle Pig says, yep, and he has one coming up next month in Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken. What? Josh Johnson has another presentation coming up? Who lives in Kansas City? Where's Ken's? And we have Ken's. We have Katie and Casey. These are people covering the Lively case. I don't know if any of them are covering this case, but I feel like that would be an interesting to go to his presentation. The fact she puts chronic overachiever on her LinkedIn is kind of cringe. 25 Anonymously. This woman has a lot of amazing things to say about herself. Don't read her blog. Like, you might, it might give you like a visceral reaction, like it did to me. But yeah, and she admits that she still makes money off her blog, because basically, what are those called? Those, I guess, associate links, like, for Amazon and stuff. So she'd be like, oh, the best cleaner to get like all the dirt out of clothes if you're doing laundry for 7 children, like things like that. And then she posts the link, and she said she still makes like a few $100s off all that stuff every month. And so, but then she decided to pivot. I'm not sure why she decided to pivot to work with BAM, but it does look like there could be a link with the BYU maybe, or they all just live near each other in Utah, or maybe she's part of the church. I don't know why she loves bricks and minifigs. I mean, there were so many photos. I didn't put all of them because some of them are kind of stupid. Did I put the one where she shows the bricks and minifigs butt? Oh, okay. I didn't. Wait, do you want me to show you really quickly? This is just funny. Hold on. I didn't put all of it. Like, again, there's so much to cover, and it's like, what absurdity am I going to cover now? What part of it, And this is why I'm not knees deep in the LLC part, because I'm busy looking up who's running their marketing and PR efforts right now, because she seems like a lunatic. Okay, there's this one. Yeah. So this is her, I want to say this is her Instagram. What's up, Fagans? Says, first time for everything. This was 12 weeks ago. Down in Orlando, Florida for the week as my company sponsors the MegaCon convention. It was a ton of work setting up everything, and my feet and knees are already tired after setup day and the first official day yesterday. If any of my Florida friends are around, come see the show or hit me up on Monday or Tuesday. And then it's so funny. Whoever Jay Doolett is, says, how are you coping with all the BAM hate? But I just thought, I'm just like, this is a person who's like a marketing person. This is not a butt. I guess this is the front. She just didn't post, whatever. I'm just saying, she just said they invested in Adobe Suite and cameras. Well, ma'am, learn to take a selfie better, because you basically posted your face next to the bricks and minifigs, but it just seems ironic, right? Rachel says, in Kansas, Fortune Law or the other company. Hello there, Sunshine says, it was a disaster prior to Ben. Exactly. And you know what? That's what I was really trying to say, because they can't try to prove, because they want to say RICO, whatever, and they're also saying losses. But a lot of this doesn't make sense, because Ben Ben's actions, right? Like none of them got picked up until just a few weeks ago when he did the video. But that store had already closed down, right? Before the video went viral, because it had to have closed down. They took the video of it and they posted it. So she basically is admitting that this company was already a disaster and a total mess well before Ben was in the picture. So to them try to get damages from Ben, I'm just saying, it drives me nuts he doesn't have a freaking lawyer, but because he needs to do a preservation order for all of all of her records. And she's not HR, she's PR, but she did like basically HR meetings with all these people. So I don't know what the laws are in Utah around all that stuff, but like, ma'am, you should have sent, they need to get that preservation order in yesterday. Either way, though, all of this, I've screenshotted all of it. I have like a lot, basically her whole LinkedIn is saved just in case, like she tries to do the, stealth deleting, but that's enough in my opinion to prove when you get to the fact that you just look at their numbers. I think it was Eagle Dog. I'll link them. Sorry, I don't think I linked them yet in the description. Like he basically broke down how they're just like that company is a sham. Then you had their own PR and marketing person right now is basically saying, yeah, they were in shambles until I showed up and saved the day. So, and she also said in that other one, because she's so stupid, she should stick to blogging about cleaning products. But she said, yeah, right here, look. She said, this was 3 days ago, you guys. She said, when someone said it's better to ask for forgiveness, or it's better to ask forgiveness than for permission, right? And she's like, depends on if there's a legal case. Ha ha. I have a bias towards action. So she's basically like already saying like they don't think that they should apologize. So she's taking them, off the cliff. I'm sure they're kind of making all the decisions, but if she's advising them in any way, we see what her game plan is, and it's a disaster. They should definitely apologize. So what else did I have on that? Okay, yes. Sorry, I was going to go in the chat really quick and see if there's anything else I missed. Before we go on, we have, look at, what number are we on? Or I'm almost done. Yeah, we only have 3 more slides left. Ozzy's not outside, so we can't go to the Ozzy cam. Okay, this says, oh, Mary says, held meetings to get NDAs and set expectations of talking would get you fired. Oh, Mary, see? This is the thinking I love. Yes, I would be so curious if she did those one-on-ones were all NDAs. But would they have even thought that far ahead at that point? Because that was before Ben was in the picture. Then Needling Pig says, I saw it a week or so from BJC. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think it's Fortune Law and Fortress Management. Jesus. Christina said, weekly one-on-one sounds stupid. Maybe once a month, but that is wild. How does she have time to do that every week? I don't know. But I want the notes. I want her notes. I want everything. Oh my gosh. Michelle gave a super chat. Thanks for all you do, DFJ. Here's a little for the Aussie fund, StreamYard fund, Legal Docs Request fund. Thank you so much, Michelle. And for those that don't know, thank you. Michelle, you're such a trooper. And like, I don't even know if you've been following the Lego case. So that's so generous of you to like hang out for it and then even give a super chat. It means a lot. They all go to a good cause. I think like StreamYard's like up to like $40 a month or something. So thank you. I really appreciate that because at some point I'm going to have to justify how much I spent on this case, like covering this case versus like, my real life job. So yes, thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate you. You're amazing. And I always love seeing your puppy there. Thank you. So, and for those that don't know, Ozzy is my cat. He survived a 3 coyote attack. And so he's kind of a legend around here. This place is a mess. Yes, I agree. JJ says the discovery is amazing. What stupid thing to do? What stupid thing do they do next? I know. Christina heading out. Okay, see you soon. The Needle Pig says unfulfilled giveaways. You mean like Reckless Ben's lottery? I know that's the first thing that came to my mind, but I'm just like, well, what does that mean exactly? Was that code for something? 25 Anonymously says buying an Adobe subscription is a quote win. How do people like this get corporate jobs and smart people end up below middle management? I don't know. Maybe they gave her, she's a discount rate or something. Did she, or maybe she, well, she said she has an office there. I was going to say, maybe she said she needs to work from home because she has 7 kids. but I don't know. Did she fail or just have a group of people that simply cannot be overridden to do the right thing? Wonder if BAM's management treats employees the same way as Ben franchisees. I have no idea. Rachel says, yeah, Fortress, was listed as a partner. Yes. The other, he was a presenter. It makes no sense. Gail says, wait, so she has a blog called What's Up Fagin? Did she pick a pocket or two, or is she just reviewing the situation? No, she's their marketing manager. Gelth, she's their crisis manager. She's their crisis commander, incident commander. LOL, get your husband to go buy the Legos. Yeah. Just crazy stuff. Rachel said, last Relic said that BB and JJ held a raffle for a set and they didn't pay it out at the conclusion. Oh, no way. He said that. Do you think that's what they're talking about? And how often are they doing that then? Sam says, all of this stuff, the marketing manager has been back up, right? Yeah, everything I took, you guys, I literally, I went through the whole LinkedIn thing because I was just like, I can't believe how much of the stuff that they post. And it's like, and it's funny because I had to do this recently for something else. And the developer that bought this wildlife corridor that I'm trying to save, and now he's backed out, but we still have to prove it that you can't develop a wildlife corridor with endangered protected species on it. I'm still having to prove that since we don't have like the 12 million that they want for us to buy it and once we prove it can't be developed, then we can hopefully like buy it and preserve it at a lower reasonable rate. But what the developer did, and I found, was actually make comments on LinkedIn about all these different problems. And that like certain things are causing him, and also, but then he was also saying he had all this development, that he has more opportunities than developers, but that if there's any developers out there to reach out to him. So basically, he kind of revealed himself as to being like a scam artist, in my opinion. So yeah, allegedly, in my opinion. The Needle Pig says they definitely not paying her enough to handle this. They're getting what they paid for. I think they're getting a discount. Christina says she should be fired. I don't know, because she's also their scapegoat, I think. At the end of the day, they're going to be like, oh, we took all this advice from this moron. Sam says all those posts from BAM marketing manager. Oh, yeah, it has been backed up. Christina says an apology would be an admission of guilt legally, so they won't be doing that. Yes and no, but like, here's the thing. If they made them whole, they're not going to be, the Brian Mansell and Reckless Ben aren't going to be suing them. Like, they want to move on. They're having to defend this lawsuit now brought on by BAM, but maybe they don't have to say sorry. Maybe they could just be like, we recognize that something wrong, or we recognize that he should be made whole. We had nothing to do with what happened, but he should be made whole. We're going to make him whole. They could do that. They could just do that. And people would let it go. I feel like everyone would let it go. More people using their power and money to screw the little people. It just doesn't make any sense. He mentioned having a lawyer on Como. Yes, but that lawyer is for the American Fork PD. Hey, Trish, how are you doing? You're driving? Okay, stay safe. People don't like Cuomo, but at least it helps get Ben's story out to boomers that watch Legacy News. Yeah. Okay, so Mary says, we don't have one-on-ones at work because we are in each other's business all day long. Today, I wrote my director a post-it with 5 things I need him to do this weekend so I can do my job. Amazing. You sound very productive, Mary. Michelle says that pupper is baby Satan, who I dog sit for, picking him up soon for 2 weeks. Oh, that's so cute. I love it. Okay. We are going to keep going. Ozzy knows Kitty Kung Fu. He is crazy. He was really crazy. And he's missing 2 teeth, a bunch of claws, and his fur cells have grown back. But like, he only had one area that had to get stitched in his leg, and he's just like, he still wants to run out the door like a crazy man. He wants revenge. Nothing stops him. He's kind of amazing. So last 2 things. Okay, so Josh Johnson, I know a lot of people see this. I hope it plays at the right part, but he's a comedian. That's really funny. And he covered the saga because, his name is Josh Johnson, and now Josh.
It doesn't help when this type of stuff is out there. Now, admittedly, Josh Johnson, very common name. You could even call it an AI-generated name. This is about as competent as it gets. So I have had no shortage of run-ins with other Josh Johnsons. There's a lot of us. There's a ton of us. And this Josh Johnson was over here using the police. Allegedly. You have to say allegedly because this Josh Johnson is very litigious.
Anyways, I think he's a great comedian. I feel like he kind of missed some of the parts of the case, but one of my favorites that he did was on the Luigi Mangione one. He made it funny, but also like thought-provoking in my opinion. So I think I already have this. Yeah, it should be in the description already if you want to watch the whole thing, but I just was giving a little funny shout out to end on a funny note. And then also, you guys, I have the best mods. Thank you to Laura, Khaleesi, and Christina. I call them the fairy mod mothers. They're in the chat. They're the ones who basically keep everything running smoothly and keep me on track. And they're absolutely amazing. And I'm gonna go out with my diss track because I know whatever there's AI hate or whatever, but I wrote all the words in that diss track. I think it's great. So we're gonna end on that. But one more thing too before that, if you are still here, if you want to leave in the comment section, because I started an Excel sheet to go through the RICO and basically, because they number everything 1 through whatever, like 200 something. And I was saying like what the claim was, and then next to it, like what the proof of them being wrong about it is. So if you guys let me know if that's something you want to do a live stream on where we can go through that together or not, because I feel like it could take hours and it might not actually be worth it. But we'll see. So just let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, we're going out with my diss track. So thanks for hanging out, everyone. I appreciate all of you. If you could like the stream, that would be awesome. And I will speak with you all soon.
Yo, the Salem Brick Trials, Brokeback Brick. I'm a McNeff. Nat, the CEO of BAM, is a giant prick. Oh, Lego in order, special brick unit, American fork police, American dork police is a disgrace. Does Officer Tonga wear Josh Johnson's thonga and then rub it all over his face? Brendan Best is the worst, call police over rubber ducks. No joke, the lawyer's name is Philip Cup. Why did the American dork redact the body cam? This American dork, call it body bam. Bam! Stole from old people, lie, denied, cried, lie, then try to pass the blame, but in the end they lost the game, they've been exposed. Bam! Stole from old people, lie, denied, cried, lie, then try to pass the blame, but in the end they lost the game, they've been exposed. Reckless Ben when John Brick, so bam, doubled down and filed RICO for Legos. American fork police, you're going down. You all look like clowns. The idiots have been exposed. Where is the parakeet? What shelter you take the bird to? Who steals someone's bird? This saga is absurd. Man threatening with lawsuits to get their way. Why don't they just pay for the Legos? Stole from old people, lie, denied, cried, lie, and try to pass the blame, but in the end they lost the game. They've been exposed. Stole from old people, lie, denied, cried, lie, then try to pass the blame, but in the end they lost the game. They've been exposed. The John Brick that exposed the truth, CEO of Patreon, told BAM to shove it. The public, they love it. Now everyone knows, BAM has been exposed.